John Frost looked on the gathered crowd, now 3,000 strong. With heavy heart, his voice rang loud as he sang this loveless song. God is a guide from field, from wave, from plough, from anvil, and from loom. We come our country's rights to save and speak a tyrant faction's doom. We raise the watchword liberty. We will be free. For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament comes crashing down with Robert's Rules of Order. And bobbies took an oath to be our nation's warders, swearing that they would enforce Sir Robert's Rules of Order. To Newport rose a million friends who rallied each supporter to join this flood of working men against Robert's Rules of Order. For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament comes crashing down with Robert's Rules of Order. Like this, on the steps of Parliament, John Frost stood proud and tall. A hush fell on this great event as he told them one and all, depose the gentry and the crown, depose the House of Lords, or join the Queen in exile by Robert's Rules of Order. So Chartists, Luddites, Communists, recall each faithful martyr who died so you could have your new world Robert's Rules of Order. Say it loud, vote your favor, shout it high. All in favor, you say aye. Favor, aye, favor. Aye. A mandate of the people's cry. Favor, aye, favor. Aye. Let's hear the opposition side. Like a stubborn donkey's bray. All opposed, you say nay. Opposed, opposed. The motion carries anyway. Currents change and bring to us our tear-corrupted warder. In chains subdued and ill-abused, he's left with no supporters. Mobility's will can then proceed by our own rules of order, and we'll all cheer for country's sake when Robert's drawn in quarter. For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament shall be reborn with Robert's Rules of Order!
Oh, why does it look fuzzy to you? It looks cloudy.
Looks
dirty.
Off color. This white doesn't look very white.
Yeah, hold on. Now people are going to wonder, you're going to see my little finger go over the screen because I'm wondering if it's
boingy,
dirty.
Boingy, boingy, boingy.
Is it dirty? Did that help at all?
A little bit. Actually, yeah, it helped quite a bit. However, it's as you walk and chances around.
Oh, I know. Oh, that's much better. So my lenses were dirty. Yeah, they're still a little dirty, but it's not so bad. And JJ says, I'm here. I made him a mod, too.
You're here all over the place.
I made him a mod because we had some... It's still a little cloudy, but whatever.
It was.
It was pretty bad before. It was like a weird filter.
Yeah.
I look better in fuzzy filters. Oh, God. Oh,
hey, you're at the one with the face made from Morse code, so, you know.
My hair is crazy.
Your hair's crazy.
Yeah, your hair is really you want my wig brush?
Gotta comb hiding.
This isn't a wig, but I only have a wig brush down here.
I gotta comb hiding if I need it.
Okay. Burp. Oh, did you've heard the new sound effect, right? I don't have it. I don't have it on a key yet, but I need to. Oh, is it not on here?
I don't know.
Guess what? Because let's add it. Because we have those new profiles, remember? I thought all the sound effects went to all the profiles, but they don't. So okay. Miscellaneous audio. I think it's down at the bottom. No. I don't see it. Hold on. You just talk while I fuck around with
I don't know what to talk about.
I'm looking for Bunchy. Do you see Bunchy here?
Bunchy?
Yeah, Bunchy the green llama.
I don't see it on that list. Oh, actually, I did hear that the other day.
Yeah, but we need Bunchy here. Where is it? My God. I don't like the way this program screws stuff up. All right, well, I'll have to find it some other day. I know I have it on the other screen. Bummer. now JJ gave us the link, but I need the sound effect. I have the file. I forget about these different profiles. Fancy, way too fancy.
Don't ask me.
Okay, so we're 58 to 50. Wow. Okay, since JJ is here, we're not going to spend too long on this because we got a big stack.
That's what she said.
Yes. But I wanted to explain
We do have a big stack.
the issue I found with revision. Because y'all know I've got a revision
All right,
fetish.
where are we going on this?
First, we're going to principles of interpretation.
Give me a direction.
Which I think is 56, isn't it?
Talking bylaws, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's going to be section 56.
Okay.
Principles of interpretation.
Is it?
I don't know. It's section 56, yes.
Okay. Where? Where in 56?
I'm looking.
68 or something, I think. I think it's towards the end.
I'm looking.
Okay, right here. Yeah, it's, I don't know what, it's 68.
Set those, wait a minute.
But now I'm trying
Oh,
to...
here we go. Yeah, I found it. Okay, which one are we looking at?
I'm trying to find it.
What number?
I don't remember now. Okay, so number 6.
Ah, got it. 590 in the 11th. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And where I'm looking at...
Hey, Daniel.
Okay, I'm looking at where it starts here. So the basic principle is, and we're not going to read the whole paragraph, I'm going to go to where I saw the issue. The principle is a prohibition or limitation prohibits everything greater than what is prohibited or goes beyond the limits, but it permits what is less than the limitation,
Right.
and also permits things of the same class that are not mentioned in the prohibition or limitation and that are not evidently improper.
Right.
Okay, that was a word salad, but that's not what I'm going for.
In other words, you can do less but not more.
Right. So it says Article 9 of the sample bylaws, and it says where it's at in the book, limits amendments to the bylaws of those of which a notice has been given and which are adopted by a 2/3 vote.
Right.
We get that.
Right.
It says, thus, the change of a single word is prohibited unless these conditions are met, and a revision of the entire bylaws require that the same steps be taken.
Notice in 2/3.
But that's not what the revision section says.
Okay.
And notice implies scope of notice. But with a revision, you can go beyond scope of notice.
Yes, you can.
And a revision is like the society is adopting bylaws again for the first time, and I thought that only required 50%.
A revision is further back in the same section. I know that.
So now Richard heard the question too. It seems to me this is there's an issue here. Revision is 56-ish. It's towards the beginning of 56.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I just know on mine there's a footnote on the page. That's how I always find it, because they added a footnote. Oh, it might be in a different... Where is it at in here?
56. Which 6 or 66? Which?
No, it said 56.6, but that's not...
You gotta go back a little more.
No, but this...
Here.
I know that's
Yeah.
where that... But that's not where it is, because I know there's a footnote, and there's no footnote there.
Yeah, because the thing of it is, as much as we went through this,
I know.
and boy, if we did.
Well, it's also 4747. Maybe that's committee to prepare. 57.5. Oh, 57. Derp, not 56.
That's conventions.
Okay, general
Yeah,
revisions.
Amendment bylaws.
Okay,
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
Changes of the bylaws that are so extensive in general that they are scattered throughout the bylaws should be effected through a substitution of an entirely new set of bylaws
Yeah.
called a revision. Notice of such a revision is notice that a new document will be submitted that will be open to amendment as fully as if the society were adopting bylaws for the first time. That contradicts what was just said in Principles of Interpretation.
Right, because
which
it goes
said
beyond
that
the scope.
Well, and beyond the scope, and as if the society were adopting bylaws for the first time is a 50% vote, not a 2/3.
Right. Because here's the other thing about it. The principle of interpretation, number 6, prohibition, limitation prohibits everything greater than what prohibited but allows what's less, says you have the scope of your notice is encompassing lesser is okay, bigger is not. I think what they're trying to say here, though, is that a revision
would still be subject to the 2/3.
It's subject to 2/3 with notice, but the revision puts the scope to be the whole document. I think that's what they're going to get at here.
See.
Yeah, in case of revision, the Assembly is not confined to consideration of the points of a change including the proposed revision as submitted by the committee that's drafted it.
Right. But
so they can go beyond that principle of interpretation.
those principles of interpretation I thought were sacrosanct, and it mentioned a revision. So he says scope is the whole document.
Yeah.
But you understand where I'm getting some confusion here?
Yeah. I think the scope in the notice is very limited for specific pieces of it, not but the whole. We get to the whole schnoodle.
Okay.
It's different.
I think that really needs to be clarified. I think including revision in that sentence.
Take a look at the previous section called isolated changes. Right here. See if that helps any.
No, I already understand all that. That's,
Some more century change.
no, that's simple. That's simple.
See, I'm thinking what they're looking at here, and this.
It's confusing,
Richard
though.
and JJ can help me on this. Is that we know it's a form of amendment, Richard? Yeah, we got that part.
Well, it's an amendment by substitution. You're substituting in
the whole schnoodle.
An entirely new set of bylaws.
Right.
But it's not an entirely new set of bylaws in abstract. It's a document that you've given notice of, this particular set of bylaws.
Right.
And to make it fully open to amendment as if the society was adopting it. So Richard just says there's just no scope of notice. But that contradicts, maybe not explicitly, but there's definitely a tension with the principles of interpretation. Because if you go back to the principles of interpretation, it says that even a revision is subject to the same rules as any other bylaws amendment. Well, the rules of our bylaws amendment in Colorado include scope of notice.
Yes.
So if they mean to exclude scope of notice, they should put that in the principles of interpretation. In a footnote, it says, with the exception that a revision can go, it's fully open to amendment. There is a tension here.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's why when we resolved it, we put that requirement of the scope in the bylaws to take it above that and get it cleaned out.
But that's the principles of interpretation here shed a shadow here on exactly what's meant by a revision. And I understand how you can interpret this two ways, but I actually think the way I'm looking at it is the only one that makes that sentence in principles of interpretation make any kind of coherent sense. I don't think so, Richard. I think there's a conflict there. I'm going to bring it up eventually on the Roberts Forum so I can have Hahnemann say I'm stupid again, but I just haven't had time for that. I think there's definitely a conflict there.
I think what they're getting at here, and I'm just the way I'm reading this, okay, so I could be wrong, is that the difference is just the level of scope versus a specific part of a bylaw versus the whole document. Because this change of a single word is prohibited unless the conditions are met, which is scope in 2/3,
right.
Notice in 2/3. And the revision of the entire bylaws requires that same steps, again, notice in 2/3. But I think it's just because we have a bigger scope of what we're dealing with versus a more specific, more precise thing here.
But the title of that thing is that you can't go beyond something. So the whole principle of interpretation there, it dragging in scope of notice.
I think you have to have the scope to figure out what the limitation is.
Yeah, so you can't. So say in your revision, you're proposing dues of $25. According to the revision section, someone can amend that to $35.
Yes.
But according to the principles of interpretation, you could not. Because you can't go greater. That's the whole context of that principle of interpretation.
I think that example you're talking about filling in a blank with a number versus
No, not a blank.
The scope of the proposal.
Not a blank. Nowhere did I say a blank.
No,
I gave the classic example
Yeah.
of scope of notice.
But if the scope is, but that's within the scope of a revision.
But
that should be
the
another-
revision, it's still the words on the page, whether it's words that cover 10 pages or words that cover one word.
Right. But the scope of the revision is the whole document, not just a specific piece.
Yeah, but documents are made up of pieces.
Yeah.
But there's a change in the 12th edition, but the change in the 12th edition doesn't affect this. This is still, because Mike's reading the 11th.
Right.
The tension that I'm seeing is in the 11th as well.
The wording between 11 and 12, what she was reading, what I was seeing, are the same thing.
It's
for
the
this
same
part.
thing. The only thing that was changed in the 12th is it made it clear that if the revision came from members, it's subject to scope of notice. And that a committee has to be specifically authorized to do a
Right.
revision if it's coming out of committee. Those changes have nothing to do with the tension that I'm
That's
seeing.
who can do it, not what's in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I still see a tension there, and I'll bring it up eventually on the forum, but I think that principal interpretation absolutely implies scope of notice. And even though it's a whole document, that just means you're changing everything, but the meaning still has a scope.
I'm not sure I totally agree with what you're saying, but we'll go with it. We'll leave it there.
Well, now both at least Richard and JJ understand what I'm saying. They don't
Yeah.
agree, but I couldn't explain it well in writing.
I guess I'm seeing scope as to application of the document, not necessarily the context within what the change is.
But that's what scope means. Scope means the change that you've given notice for, not how many words it is. That's
Right.
like saying, well, I gave notice for a big fat paragraph.
But the scope of the change for the whole document is the whole document,
Yeah, and the scope of a change for a paragraph is the paragraph.
or the sentence, or whatever the hell it is. Yeah.
But it's still the words that are contained within the paragraph. If you substitute in another paragraph that's the same amount of words, so therefore the same chunk of the document, but the meaning is completely different, you have violated scope. I know that there's allegedly no scope of notice with a revision. Richard, I think everyone keeps talking around me. I think that the principles of interpretation kind of drag in scope of notice inadvertently. I get that the intent is, and ultimately there's no scope of notice with a revision. I think they cloud the issue by even mentioning a revision in that principles of interpretation without a footnote saying, with the exception of scope of notice.
The problem here, and I understand what you're saying, the problem here is that they don't clearly make a distinction between a revision and a regular base type amendment.
What
Part of the document. And because they don't make that distinction, and they say it the way they with the footnote, that's where the confusion's happening.
I think there needs to be a footnote in the principles of interpretation.
Scope of change for revision, everything between the existing language and everything else.
Where does it? I think you can, within a revision, you can substitute some in some existing language. And you could substitute in less than the existing language.
In other words, okay, this is back to general revisions. In other words, in the case of a revision, the assembly is not confined to consideration of only the points of change included in the proposed revision as submitted to the committee
Right.
by the committee that drafted it. The revision can be perfected by first and second degree amendments, but as is the case of any other bylaw amendment, the old document is not pending, and therefore, while the revision can be rejected altogether, leaving the old bylaws intact, the old document cannot be altered with a view to retaining it in a changed form.
Right.
So what they're saying here is,
But it doesn't mean you can't say, I like
open to
some
it.
language from the old one, and I'm going to move to amend to make this one little part of the revision look a little bit more like the old one.
you're saying you can't do that?
You can.
Yeah, you can. I agree, yeah.
Now, JJ, what do you mean all existing language and no more and no less? That makes no sense.
Yeah, we're not sure what you mean there.
You can put in additional provisions in a revision.
Sure. Matter of fact,
And you could take away things that were covered by the prior bylaws in a revision. So I don't know what you mean by no
you can trim
more.
away deadwood.
So what do they mean by, what's he mean by no more and no less?
Yeah, I'm not sure what
That makes no sense.
JJ's context here is either.
You can add whole sections in a revision.
Yeah.
You could take away whole sections in a revision.
Yeah. Even if you were to consider our merge that we did.
It wasn't a revision.
If you were to consider it as a revision, just bear with me a second here. We took a couple sections out of there because we had to because of the two different amendment thresholds.
He says the only way to violate scope is to include all existing language. What? That makes no sense either.
No,
What if you...
Because that just means the whole proposal is meaningless.
Yeah. And that anything you're adding should just be a regular amendment.
Yeah.
I don't get what you're saying. So anyway, at least I don't... But that's not violating scope. That's just
It's
making
just wasting time.
a meaningless motion, and in order to try to call something a revision that's not a revision, it's just out of order.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's out of order to move to amend something by doing nothing to it.
or by using
That's just
an incorrect parliamentary
You could almost
form.
argue that's dilatory.
An incorrect parliamentary form.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted you guys to understand what I saw. I am eventually probably going to put it on the forum and be prepared to be roasted.
That horse looks like it's puking a rainbow on my shirt. You know what? He's got a point.
Yeah. I know I'm going to get roasted by Hahnemann, but I'm not going to get as roasted as badly as JJ is in his thread right now. You've got to read it, Mike.
Excuse me. Why? What's going on
It's
there?
in the advanced forum.
I haven't been there lately.
It's like, it was 4 pages last time I saw, and those ones in the advanced forum.
What should we call you, JJ?
Yeah, well, I'll call you. What do you want me to call you, baby? So in the advanced form, next page.
Yeah.
And I think that one.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for.
Yes, I need to add the other sound effects to this thing. So, you should read it because I'd be interested if you agree with JJ. Parliamentary-wise, I actually don't agree with JJ on this, though I do think General Robert made some kind of contradiction.
What's the 30,000 foot view?
Oh God. But I wanted to finish the sentence there. But I agree with him on a heretic level. I agree with him on a moral level, because I don't believe that bylaws are a suicide pact. But anyway, so he was saying something like, say you had a board of directors,
Okay.
in which you had 8. I think it was 8. This will give you close enough.
Okay. Listen.
And 4 of them, one of them dies.
Okay.
And 3 of them resign or something like that.
Okay.
And
so you lose your at least half.
And 3 that resigned, and it might even have been 9, because I don't think the half was
Wee. Don't mind me.
the point. So 3 of them resigned, or whatever the number was, and they cannot make the next meeting.
Okay. So
Who knows why?
So we can have no quorum.
Right. And something they need to do with the next meeting requires there to be 6 members there. They have this weird bylaws requirement.
Fill the vacancies.
Right. They can't even accept the resignations. They can't do anything without 6 people.
Yeah.
But you can't get 6 people there because one person's dead. They're definitely not showing up. And the other 3 whose resignations you haven't accepted
Yeah.
can't come.
Okay.
For whatever reason. They can't come. They're in jail. They're in another country.
Yeah.
They're in a coma. Whatever. But it's a situation, it's a circumstance that could change. So maybe they could come in the future. Maybe they'll get out of their coma before the next meeting. But as of right now, they can't come.
Yeah.
So he's saying that the 4 remaining members
Yeah.
can accept the resignations subject to ratification at a meeting at which there is a quorum.
Okay.
And because those then give notice
Keep going.
that they're going to fill the vacancies based upon the resignations they just accepted, but they're pending ratification. Then at the next meeting, they fill the vacancies. They have their new people ratify the resignations. But to me, that's entirely circular.
That's backwards.
You
can make the appointments of the replacements valid subject to accepting the resignations first, A then B, but you can't have them take over.
I don't think you could.
That.
You could do either because you don't have a vacancy until you accept the resignations.
No, you can proviso that, but
no, you can't.
Because the intent is to have the vacancy be caused by the resignations.
Yeah,
in the
but
first
you
place.
still have members until you don't have vacancies. So therefore, you can't fill seats until the resignations are accepted.
Well, that's what I was saying. You can make a motion to say specifically that.
But you
in advance.
You don't have 6 people
Yeah,
to ratify it.
The problem
yet.
is you don't have a quorum.
Right,
Yeah.
because your bylaws made it impossible for you to get a quorum.
Which means you're forced in that situation to have to postpone the meeting until such time as you can achieve a quorum.
But let's just say those 3 people never can come. And your dead one definitely never can
dead
come.
one can't, yeah.
So it's almost an Oregon situation where it made it impossible for them to get a quorum.
And that became necessary.
And JJ
says to notice the members.
JJ thinks you can do this like reverse ratification thing, and I don't think, strictly parliamentarily speaking, you can.
I don't think you can do it that way either. I think that's getting carts before horses.
Now, however, do I think in such a situation, as long as all members know what's going on and nobody's rights are being violated, no absentee rights are being violated, would I kick up a stink over something like that happening? No, because I think the organization has to survive, and that is the best of all worst opportunities. JJ's going to get all upset because I'm saying the same thing the people on the forum were. So ethically, I think you can do it, but strict Roberts, I don't think you can.
Procedurally, it sounds wrong. I'll say that just off the top of my
It's
head.
almost like the libertarian thing of, ooh, property rights. Does that mean if a mother has a starving baby, she can't, and she's in the middle of a desert where there's a supermarket, she can't break in to feed her baby? Morally, I would have no problem with that, but legally, it's still breaking and entering.
Right, and that goes into the whole argument of ethics and morals versus law,
right,
which
versus
is a whole
justice.
different, big Grand Canyon-sized rabbit hole.
So Hahnemann, though, basically said to JJ, and nicer than he would have said to me, "Are you smoking crack?" That's basically what Hahnemann said. But JJ brings up a great answer by General Roberts in, I think it's in Parliamentary Law. Was it in Parliamentary Law or was it in Questions and Answers? Whatever. But the fact is, that hasn't made it in Parliamentary Law. It's not in here.
Okay.
It's not in here. If it's not in here, it's not current.
If it ain't written down, it ain't happening.
I agree that General Roberts made a really weird, I think he contradicted himself. I think he carved out this weird exception, but it hasn't made it into here. It's not part of the Holy Writ. It's something that the Apostle Paul said that he didn't put in an epistle.
That's because Paul was pissed.
Just saying.
He was pissed, so he didn't put it in the epistle.
I think it should be. I do think there needs to be something like that in here, because
the problem is
the strict reading of the rules now make organizations have to choose between doing minor violations or ceasing to exist.
Yeah, the fundamental problem is they need to get a good qualified systems and process engineer to look over all of Roberts and clean them up, because they get so wrapped up around the trees they forget the forest. But I've been saying that for a while.
So anyway,
and that type of mentality is a little different from a parliamentarian mentality, because they focus more on structure and process rather than just how the rules work.
So, but morally, I absolutely agree with what JJ said, and I think it's a flaw in Roberts. Because if
as they're now currently said, yeah, I agree, because you have to get a quorum before you can actually do something.
Right.
But if you can't get a quorum, then what do you do?
If something happens that was just really, listen, you can make your bylaws 1,000,000 miles long to foresee every contingency, and I just don't think that's practical. If there's something where you're not violating anyone's rights and you got to fudge a little in order to preserve. And some people on that thread actually said, in this hypothetical, do I think the present officers did what they had to do to preserve the organization? Yes. Yeah. But it's not.
And that's also why in your bylaws you need to have some sort of a provision in there for the members to call a convention to address these things.
Yeah, these hypothetical bylaws didn't have it.
Right.
But you should go read that thread. It's a really good read. But boy, they're ganging up on JJ.
Yeah, you always need to have an escape clause in there somewhere in your bylaws to make sure that the members can step in and fix the problem. What it comes down to.
Let's do our stuff because I've got a bunch of other like extraneous things that I could be bringing up right now.
Oh yeah.
Such as I got it was called Sturgis before. What's it called now?
You mean the motorcycle rally?
No, the Parliamentary Authority. It's the one that AIP favors.
Oh, nonsense and other bad procedures, yes.
The American Institute of Parliamentarians Standard Code or something. Yeah, I got that. It is a lot simpler than Robert's, and I went to look. Okay, the gods hate me. So I just flip it open to one page just to start to skim. It was on removing officers. I'm like, fuck you. It was. I shit you not.
Oh man, irony is working overtime on you.
Yeah, but actually, if we were under the standard code,
code, hang the code.
Well, the bylaws would supersede. But my position is the bylaws only say a vote threshold. They don't say the process.
I'm still laughing over that.
What we would have ended up arguing over if we were in the standard code was all the things they list valid cause, which is interesting.
A good thing.
And the standard code would require a trial.
Hopefully included but not limited to, but yeah.
Yeah, it was what is typical valid cause. And everything on there and what's not valid cause. Tending to be divisive or argumentative is not valid cause. But what was valid cause was unwarranted attacks against the board as a whole or other board members. We would have been arguing over whether my attacks were warranted. Because it's without a question I attack them.
Yeah.
I don't deny that I attack them. It's undeniable. Like, I would be crazy. I mean, obviously...
The question is, was it warranted? And the answer could be argued very easily and completely yes. Hell, I argued it in front of them.
Yeah, to say that you're silent on COVID, that's definitely a fucking warranted attack.
Oh, yes. That was beyond warranted.
Yeah, not wanting to do anything to a chair that was engineering a coup of a state affiliate. Okay.
Yeah.
Because everything else they had against me was just me being argumentative.
Yeah.
In general with them because they're bad people. Which I didn't really realize at the time. Being on this LNC is so different.
I've even noticed that in the mood on the list.
Well,
and the mood on the list with text is hard to see sometimes.
Well, the way
people are saying things is
I'm going to give you an example, and it's not violating executive session to say this. There was an executive session email on political strategy, and I brought up a concern that in the former LNC, me bringing up this concern, they would have dogpiled the fuck out of me. Instead, in response to this concern, all I got was thank yous for bringing it up. What a difference. Night and day.
And even if the thank you was a sarcastic one.
No, it wasn't.
Which probably wasn't, yeah. It's still better than,
Yeah. I held off bringing up this concern because I was worried. Yeah. Because I'm so knee-jerk reaction to the way I've been treated in the past.
Yeah, you're a little gun-shy because of what happened. That's understandable.
And I don't think anyone necessarily agrees with what I said, but I still got a thank you. So, night and day. All right. But we might start going over some of the standard code stuff because, listen, I've decided, because I'm a little overachiever and just don't have enough to do because I'm so fucking bored, I am going to join AIP. I'm going to do that this week. And I'm probably going to take their certified...
you have been warned.
So I got the book so I could read it and study it.
How big is the book?
About twice this one on the bottom.
About 2/3 of Robertson.
Yeah, and it's big print. That's what I love. It's a bigger book, like
Oh,
it's longer.
It's like
It's longer,
trade
baby.
back or something. Yeah,
it's bigger than that. Well, maybe it's about this size.
That's
It might,
about trade back size.
it might be a little taller and a little wider.
Yeah.
But it's normal print.
You don't need a microscope to read
Yeah,
it.
Roberts, man.
I know.
I don't like Roberts Rules for Dummies.
Robert's Rules for Dummies contradicts Roberts in a lot of places, actually.
You know, if you want a short version,
Do the in brief.
The authors have written a shortened version, Robert's Rules in Brief. You can read it in an hour and a half. It's very, very good. If they didn't have this, I'd be all about the Dummies books. But to me, all of those books are useless when they did their own short version.
I've read through some of the various Dummies books over the years, and every single time I find problems with them because there are times that what they say just totally isn't correct. It doesn't matter whether it's Robert's Rules or programming languages or whatever. They just get stuff wrong.
The best, okay, I'm going to admit now, like, I wasn't a libertarian, so y'all don't jump on my case about committing fraud. So when I got my first...
She's doing much better now.
When I got my first legal secretary job, they asked me if I knew certain programs. And I didn't, but I said I did. And one of them was WordPerfect 5.1 for DOS.
Oh my God, you're dating yourself now.
I'm very old. I've been a paralegal for a long time.
You're dating yourself with that one.
Jay, if Richard thinks so, I'm not going to be confused. You of little faith, Richard. Oh, we don't have... Oh, because I can't put comments up with both of us. I'd cover his face. That might not be a bad idea.
I was going to say, that might be an improvement.
So Richard says, get your PRP before going for the CP. It'll confuse you. You of little faith. Now, is that a challenge? I'm taking that as a personal challenge. So anyway, I'm waiting to pass my RP exam for the second time, which will take another fucking 5 years.
Well, yeah, because they just fired the grading crew.
Yeah.
And they still haven't gotten the pass section graded, right?
Oh, no, that did it. It took a year and a month.
Jeez Louise.
And now they released the rest of Section 2.
Yeah.
I finished it, but now I'm waiting for
that grade, yeah. Take another year and a month.
And Section 3 is the mock teaching thing. Who are they going to get to do that?
Hahnemann.
I will protest. That man hates me. Okay.
You would think they would have it a little more automated by now.
That man hates me.
Oh, that's because he isn't getting any, but that's another story.
No, I think... No, he's a cute... For a gruff old man, he's a good-looking guy.
Oh, that's why you think he's gruff.
No, he thought I was some kind of wild-eyed feminist, and he has that in his head, and he thinks I'm looking to come in and, like, you know, do a whole social justice warrior thing. So knowing that's what he thinks of me, I don't blame him kind of for being a dick, because those people are poison to any organization.
People are poison, but he shouldn't judge a book by its cover. For that
Listen,
matter.
I chose to have pink hair. Most people with pink... Listen, it's instinct to make generalizations. I don't get mad at people, really, who make generalizations, as long as they're willing to revise those after they hear me for a while.
That's the problem, is a lot of them aren't.
But the first thing he remembers me objecting about... So here's this pink-haired woman objecting about the word chairman. I would make that generalization, too.
I wouldn't, but that's just me.
See, they like Robert. I don't like Robert's Rules for Dummies.
I don't like the Dummies series
I
at
didn't
all.
find any errors in it.
And I've had exposure to multiple books in their series covering various topics, and I keep finding problems.
I didn't find any error in the Roberts for Dummies, but I just didn't like the way it was written. I didn't find it easy at all. I had to keep going looking shit up to understand what the hell they were saying.
Yeah.
So Wayne would be a good one.
I found them in a couple of their programming language specific books where they said things that were completely and blatantly wrong. Like they had in a C++ one in one version, they had the order of operations totally wrong. And I'm going, no, dude, this is definitely not right. I have a degree in mathematics. I know this stuff. I work with this stuff for the past 2 decades. You got it wrong. And I know what the coding standard is, and that ain't it. So I don't put a lot of faith in it.
I haven't found any errors in it, but Wayne loves it, And he did the whole thing, so maybe if he ends up...
I mean, if you want technical books, go look at O'Reilly. They're
Okay,
the best.
let's...
Okay.
We're like...
We're
like 45 minutes in and we haven't even started.
All right, shall we get moving on this? When we last left ourselves, which was a
God.
couple of weeks ago,
Okay.
because I was involved in Progomania last weekend, and you were...
What did I have last
You had
weekend?
LNC. You weren't feeling well at one point. You had LNC crazy, too.
Oh, it's going to be LNC crazy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's from that article.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a little bit of a parody, but it also is dead serious. So...
I was
You're
camping. That's right.
That's right. You were
Derp.
Yeah.
I don't even
You were
remember
camping,
that.
and I was mucking around with 3 rooms of Pergo.
And while I was camping, I was working on the policy manual. Every time I camp, people are like, and Jeff Orr goes, the first time I
she
saw
goes
you.
camping to get off a comm so she can get work done.
Jeff goes, the first time I saw you camping, you brought these big ass binders. And I was talking about that the other show. I had every set of LNC minutes. I printed them all out to study for when I was running for Region 1. Okay, go on.
All right. When we last left off, we were at July 15th. So this
Okay.
is July 16th.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Are you ready now?
No.
Okay.
But go ahead.
It's a secretary question.
Then I definitely am not ready.
When the secretary is absent...
I've never missed a meeting.
you may get this one wrong then. A. The president should appoint a secretary.
No.
B. The vice president acts as secretary.
No.
C. The corresponding secretary takes the minutes.
Oh, we never had a corresponding secretary, so what's D?
D. A secretary pro tem should be elected.
Yeah, D.
Yeah, it's D.
Okay.
I have to look at the answer. I know what that
Okay.
is. So.
Well, but I didn't know if... And we'd never had a correspondence.
Technically, according to Roberts, usually if you don't appoint one, the regular secretary is the corresponding secretary too.
Right, right.
Yeah, which means that the corresponding secretary is the one that writes all the obscene notes to everybody. So.
I'm actually somewhat surprised we don't have a... Our organization actually could use a corresponding secretary. And staff would be relieved of a lot of things.
Richard, the problem is not clueless people at the company. The problem is the company is clueless.
I actually didn't find any errors, but I don't think I've read the Dummies books recently, so when I read it, I didn't know nearly as much as I do now, because I did have to keep going back to the books. I couldn't figure out what they were talking about. But I don't remember finding any errors. I just, for me, didn't find it easy. But like WordPerfect 5.1 for Dummies was fantastic. I learned that program that way, that my job that I got by saying I knew WordPerfect 5.1, never knew I didn't know it until...
And let me guess, 6 months later they switched to Word.
No.
They
that
didn't?
job had Word. Law offices held on to WordPerfect as long as possible. It's superior for heavy formatted documents because it has reveal codes. I know Word pretends to have reveal codes.
No, they
it's
don't.
not real reveal codes.
No, they don't.
And that's why law offices clung on to WordPerfect as long as possible. But they never knew I didn't know it. And the tip for paste, I never forgot from that Dummies book. And it said it's Control-V because you vomit it back up. The WordPerfect 5.1 DOS for Dummies is hilarious. And if you can make WordPerfect funny, it's kind of like making Roberts funny. It's a talent.
It had a bunch of well-respected parliamentarians for accuracy, readability, but not proofreading.
Well,
Dummies has their own internal proofreaders, and they suck. Okay, believe me. I've been dealing with Dummies books across the spectrum
but
for over 2
maybe
decades.
this one is an exception.
Maybe it is, but the rest of them aren't.
Well, but we were talking about this one. I know you got some kind of weird burr up your ass.
I don't. I have seen the Dummies books, and I run away from them.
Okay.
In my world, if I want technical accuracy, I'll go talk to O'Reilly instead of Dummies.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. A right of the president is to...
Wait a minute, the what of the president?
A right.
A right, okay.
Of the chair. We don't use president.
Whatever. Okay, I'm with you.
I don't like the president title. And I noticed JJ and Richard, because they're used to that with like NAP and everything,
Yeah.
they flub up every once in a while and call Angela Madam President. Ew. Okay, a right of the president or the chair
Yes.
is to A, debate all motions. B, stop debate when it continues too long.
No.
C, vote either to break or to cause a tie.
Definitely true.
D, serve on the nominating committee.
I'm not sure about that one. C, I know is right, so
Yeah,
I'm
it's
going
C.
with C. Yeah.
It's C. And the chair cannot. It says that your bylaws should say that the chair can't serve on the nominating committee.
Yeah, fair enough.
We don't have a nominating committee for anything, so that's why that one's kind of weird.
Well, technically, the chair as a member has the right to engage in debate. As in just the chair, they really shouldn't.
Right.
Because they need to maintain the
The best
impartiality.
answer is C.
Yeah.
You need to
Oh. You're right.
see. I could have cheated here. See, I don't do the fraud thing anymore because I'm a libertarian.
No, she just does the fried thing because she drinks too much.
I'm sipping, if you've noticed. But this is homemade. You want to try it? It's homemade sangria.
Nah, it's okay.
Our homemade sangria is otherwise known as coconut rum with fruit in it. And a little bit of boxed red wine. Have you ever seen boxed wine? What
Yes,
the
I've
fuck?
seen boxed wine.
There's something.
It's terrible.
Well, that's why we put coconut rum in. So Richard says I can do. No, was it JJ said I'd be fine doing the CP, but and Richard says I get confused, but JJ says it'd be hard to get the relevant experience. I don't know. See, Richard's spanking you, Mike. Should I spank Mike for you? Bend over.
Richard, I'm criticizing the company, not the book.
Mike,
Learn the difference.
Mike, bend over.
No. We have an agreement not to show my good side on camera.
We could do. I'll spank you off camera. They could just hear the sounds. Fwap. Wait. So what was? Oh, but JJ says it would be hard to get the relevant experience. Let me just ask you, Mike. In the LP,
Yes.
if there's experience I needed, do you think it would be hard to get it? How hungry? The LP is as hungry for people wanting to volunteer for parliamentary stuff as the men are thirsty for women. They're just as thirsty for parliamentarians.
What women?
That's the thing. What
That's part of the
parliamentarians? There's only service points. I don't think that would be hard. I'm a very service-oriented person. I volunteer for so much shit. One thing you can't say about me is I don't have a spirit of volunteerism.
No, if anything, you're the opposite. You do too much.
I could get it. That's not an issue.
Anyway.
And experience stuff isn't an issue because the fucking LP is thirsty.
Look at my resume. But the only thing I haven't been has been a national committee member, or
You've never been you're a JC member.
I'm a JC member. I'm not never an LNC member.
Yeah, but I could get it.
But
Richard.
I've also never been a state chair. That's about the only things. I've played.
You've been a county chair.
I've been a county chair. I played a state chair in a meeting once.
And you're on a national committee.
Right.
It doesn't mean a national committee is not just committees of the LNC. It's a national committee. You've
But I
been a
said
national
specifically
committee.
LNC. Yeah. But,
Okay, well,
Yeah.
maybe you will this time. I always vote for you for bylaws. It's not my fault that no one else does.
When are the application forms for national going out?
Actually, you almost got on as alternate last time, so I'm joking when I said nobody else doesn't. You actually got about the same amount of votes, almost the same amount of votes as Ken Molman.
Yeah.
But Ken should have been a primary. I can't believe that LNC didn't vote for him. But anyway.
With the previous one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. They didn't like him much either because he was too rational
Yeah.
and interrupting their little temper tantrums.
This meeting tonight, we're going to set the time frame.
Okay.
I want to appoint at the November meeting.
Okay.
But whether that happens or not.
Yeah.
And November meetings and I don't want to update my software, boo. No, not today, Satan.
Cancel.
Not today.
What?
It just moves over to my other screen. You didn't get the hint first time. Okay.
There we go.
Persistent little bugger. Okay. Is it me now?
Yeah, I got to ask you.
All right.
Okay. An amendment is improper when A, it would change one form of amendment into another form.
That it's improper then.
B, it is not germane to the question to be amended.
Oh, that's true too.
C, it would have the effect of converting one parliamentary motion into another.
That's the same thing as A.
D, all the above.
It's D.
Man, we're getting the easy ones. You're getting the easy ones today. We're not going to discuss that one because we've gone through that so damn much. It's crazy. So, oh, this is Sunday.
Oh, I get another one. I get another one. I'm going to kick your ass.
She hasn't been drinking yet.
We need to set that to music. We need Bunchy. We don't have Bunchy. Oh, God. Where is he? While you're sitting there playing on your phone, I'm trying to find Bunchy.
I'm about to whip somebody's ass.
Yes, I am about to.
Oh, I'm about to whip somebody's ass. Oh, if you don't leave me alone, you're gonna have to send me home. 'Cause I'm about to whip somebody's ass.
Perfect. Where's Bunchy?
See, I keep funny things on my phone too.
Okay, hold on. Let's look up. Oh, where's my search screen?
I don't know.
I hit command. There we go.
You're the one using this Apple stuff.
Bunchy. Bunch right here. Where is this? Okay. Work a show and finder. Where is it? I don't have my screen set up to show and finder. Okay, so I'm gonna search in the finder. Hold on. So let's go desktop search. Bunchy.
There it is.
Okay, but where is it?
It says
Desktop. It's on my desktop. Why is it on my desktop?
you put it there.
There he is. Okay, hold on. So I want to copy here, and I want to go to Pink Flame of Liberty Assets, miscellaneous audio, paste. Okay, now let's go over here, and JJ has the link saved, which is quite disturbing.
There it is.
Okay, good. Now we have him. Now, where'd he go? Right here.
Sounds like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
Sounds like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber.
Oh my God, I love that so hard. Did I mark my thing? I did mark my thing. So now, you're asking me again.
What thing did you mark?
All of the things, baby.
That's what she said. Anyway.
I need to do the strike, that little jump I did.
That was pretty funny.
Well, I got like 10 gutter balls in a row before the strike. I'm like very extreme in my bowling. It's either good, really good, or fucking horrible.
How fast do your bowling balls?
How fast are my balls?
How fast do your bowling balls go down the lane?
Not very, because I'm not strong, and I only have an 8-pound ball.
That's why. You need a 6-pound ball.
Well,
They're hard to find, but they do exist.
I had a 10 before too, and a 10 hits harder. But
Yeah.
Wayne lost my pink bowling ball.
Well, how the hell do you do that?
I have no fucking idea, but we can't find it. So I had to use my purple one.
You have to go get another one. Get a 6-pound pink ball. Boy, don't take that out of context.
I don't want to hear about your 6-pound pink ball.
Anyway.
That sounds like it needs penicillin.
Well, just look at it this way. It bowls strikes, and it's always in the lane. So
This little preview screen is bugging me.
yeah, it's
Go over here where you belong.
We don't need
Thank
that
you.
here.
Okay.
Okay, here's the question. In some organizations, the financial reports...
Says who?
Says the question.
I do that to Wayne all the time, and it drives him crazy. I'll ask him a question. Why, are these things in the road, the cattle guards? Or he'd start to say, and I know he goes, says who?
Well, remember, AOC thinks the cattle guards are underpaid because they don't get any salary.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
People outside of Colorado might not know what we're talking about, but...
Yeah. In some organizations, the financial reports are audited by elected officers, parenthesis plural, known as A, warrant officers,
What the fuck?
B, wardens,
Do you know the answer to this?
Who, me? Yeah, I do.
You do?
I do.
Did you know it before seeing it through the side?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
C, trustees, or D, managers.
Trustees.
It is trustees.
That was just a guess because the warden shit didn't make no sense.
Okay, a warden doesn't make any sense because that's something that happens in prison. A warrant officer is a military position.
Never, I wouldn't know that.
Manager doesn't make any sense, but a trustee does because trustees audit financial reports for fiduciaries for
It just sounded like it made sense.
That's how I know it.
If it was a manager, I would have talked to them already because of my
no,
name.
fiduciary.
It went over his head.
No, I get it, but I understand trustees because I'm dealing with one right now who doesn't know what the hell they're doing. But anyway.
I'm kicking your ass.
It's
Okay.
only because you had one extra question.
Oh, we've had this one before, and I think we got it wrong before.
Oh, boy.
I only skimmed it, so it might not be.
You skimmed it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
The effect of postponing a question to a specified hour.
Oh, here we go.
A. Provides that the matter will come before the assembly at the time named or a later time. B. Makes it impossible to reconsider the question except by a 2/3 vote. C. Prevents debate on the question by dissenting members. D. Makes it a special order.
Well, C is totally ridiculous. What's B again?
Makes it impossible to reconsider the question except by a 2/3 vote.
No. What's D?
Makes it a special order.
And then A was...
Provides that the matter will come before the assembly at a time named or a later time.
This is postponed time certain, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
to a
it's
specified hour.
A.
It is A.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not D though. Because isn't that making something a special order?
That's a good question. I mean, no, A is right, but what you're asking about D is a good question.
I think I got this wrong before because I thought it made it a special order. So, you parliamentary big brains in the audience, why isn't it a special order? Why isn't postponing something to a certain time making it a special order? What is it then?
Is it a general order?
Is it a general order? Right, but why isn't it a special order, JJ? Help me, JJ. Why isn't it a special order? He says it's a general order. Why is it a general order? I thought a general order wasn't for a specific time. Oh, he says a special order requires a 2/3 vote.
I can believe that.
I hate this general special order shit, and I don't think those categories are useful in the slightest, and I think they need to die in a fire screaming for their mama. I think everything should be like, I don't get that. Nobody understands that except for big brain parliamentarians. And if you have categories of shit that nobody understands, that you have to pay somebody or get somebody who's willing to volunteer their time to explain it to you, it doesn't belong in the book. That is one of the things, I'm on a rant right now.
Yeah,
that
you're
is
putting yourself out of business.
No, that is one of the things in Roberts that is just obscura, that doesn't belong in there, that overly complicates things, and is just something for parliamentarians to have a circle jerk about. It's dumb. Did you think I was unclear? What did I hold back?
No, tell us how you really feel.
Okay.
Standard characteristic number 7 of postponed to a certain time. Requires a majority vote in simple and usual form. If originally moved or as a result of amendment, it makes a question a special order. However, the motion to postpone then requires a 2/3 vote because it suspends any rules that will interfere with the question's consideration at the time specified. An amendment to the motion to postpone requires only a majority vote, even if it would add a provision to make the postponed question a special order and will consequently change to 2/3 the vote necessary for adoption of the motion to postpone. In other words, it's treating it as a general order unless there's some specific thing to make it a special order.
But that's useless. God. Oh, I know JJ goes, it could be... Listen, I could think of probably 1,000 things that could be useful that, are so fucking rare. It doesn't need to make things so confusing.
There's always room to simplify, but anyway.
That is something that needs to be simplified.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're asking me now.
Am I?
Oh, no, I'm asking you. That's right. I got that one
okay,
right.
hold on.
Well, I got that. I got that right, so I need to mark this up here. What am I doing?
There you go.
I'm gonna give you a red nose while you're. I'm gonna give you a red nose while you're drinking.
Look. I hardly drank any out of this.
This time.
Yeah, because I can't be drunk for the LNC meeting.
Exactly. You have an excuse. You can't get sauce this time. Okay. For a vote by mail,
No, we don't do that anymore.
if the vote is to be secret, the following procedure should be followed when counting the ballots.
Oh God, all those
A,
envelopes within envelopes.
Don't let Jenna Griswold near them. No. The signature on the inner envelope is checked against a list of qualified voters. B, the voter is checked off on the list of qualified voters as having voted. C, the inner envelope is opened, the ballot removed and placed still folded into a receptacle to await counting until all ballots have been processed. Or D, all of the above.
Say it again. We don't vote by mail.
Okay, for a vote by mail, I'll give you a large hint. Don't worry about within the organization. Think of voting in general. Okay. For a vote, if the vote is to be secret, the following procedure should be followed when counting the ballots.
Mm-hmm.
A, the signature on the inner envelope is checked against the list of qualified voters.
But don't you sign it on the, like I'm thinking of Colorado
Yeah,
ballot.
that's fine.
You sign the outer envelope,
Right.
not an inner envelope.
Well, in this case, they're saying an inner envelope. But anyway, B, the voter is checked off the list of qualified qualified voters
Okay,
having
D.
voted. Yeah, it is D. It's all the above. Yeah.
Okay, that it was the inner envelope thing that fucked me
Yeah.
up because in Colorado you sign an outer envelope.
Right. So
You don't sign the inner envelope in
isn't-
Colorado.
No, you don't. As a matter of fact, there are some ballots that don't. My county doesn't even have an inner envelope.
I'm trying to think if mine actually has an inner
El Paso doesn't
envelope.
even have an inner envelope. It just has the one.
I think ours has an inner envelope, but you sign the outside.
Yeah. And they check that first before they ever even get to
Oh,
opening
right,
it.
right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
We don't do mails, but I laughed at some of the old LNC minutes where the secretary did have to send out mail ballots.
Yeah. That is
What a fucking pain in the ass.
Mail ballots from at least within private organizations now are basically obsolete.
But man, so yeah, the secretary then had to do a lot more work. Well, in a lot of ways had to do a lot more work because A, they had to type their fucking minutes on a typewriter.
And get them right the first time.
And B, you had to send out mail ballots. My God.
Those of you who have ever done typing on a manual typewriter without eraser ribbon knows exactly how much of a nuclear pain in the ass that is. I know it because I've done it.
You get your white out.
Or you have one of those little eraser dookers that might work without tearing the paper apart.
You do your white out and you get too impatient and don't let it dry and then you get all this white shit all over your
Yeah. The best thing that ever happened to typewriters before word processors came
I was going to
along,
say it was computers.
before computers, was the IBM Selectrics. Those things were damn good typewriters.
Well, those keyboards, that's what the IBM M keyboard
Yeah.
is. Select. You know, I
Yeah.
got one right there.
I saw it.
Yeah, the keyboard, not the Selectrics. I don't have a Selectrics. I haven't.
My grandmother had a Selectrics in her home, and my mother had one at the office. And I love that thing. Those things.
The IBM M keyboard's one of the best keyboards ever made.
It is.
And it weighs about 5 pounds.
It is, but it's also as durable as hell.
Yeah, that's why I have one
Yeah.
still. I've got one at the office too.
Now, is it a PS2 or is it USB?
PS2.
That means you got to get an adapter.
I do. I have an
Okay,
adapter.
There you go.
They're way before USB. What's the one? I'm trying to think. Never mind. It's a PS2 though.
Is it
I
a
have
round plug?
Yeah.
That's
it's
PS2.
Yeah. Hold on.
Versus a flat one, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not a USB.
Well, no, the flat, wide, big ones. Those are
Yeah,
like
no,
old
it
scuzzies.
might be one of the bigger ones. It might be even before PS2.
Let's see this sucker.
It's this.
That's a PS2, yeah.
Yeah, but this thing's got some heft.
Oh yeah, that's
And the click.
Now that's a keyboard.
With a
Yeah,
satisfying.
the
Yeah.
classic sound.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
love.
that's definitely a PS2. board,
Yeah,
yes.
I love my IBM M's.
Yes. Classic, full, QWERTY, expandable, none of this extra crap of function keys and No volume controls or any other crap that they put on
I
nowadays.
love this keyboard. The only problem is I can't really use it with my Macs because it doesn't have a Windows key. Because these Windows, you have the extra key.
I can get you a panic button.
But I don't think this is one of the ones from the good years. Yeah, this is 96. I have one from the 80s.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Another one. Those were better. They were more durable.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But my IBM M, I love the clickety-click.
That's a classic sound, yes.
Okay, so who?
You're asking me.
Oh, where'd I put them?
Under there.
Oh, so you wouldn't cheat. Got it.
You put them under there because you just do not have it.
We've had this one before.
The answer is E.
God, my bra strap. Alrighty. To strike and insert the same words in another place.
Oh, fun.
We had this just very recently.
Yeah, we did. At least I like it anyway.
The maker must
Yeah.
have unanimous consent, A.
No.
B. Be careful not to materially change the words.
Maybe.
C. Use 2 motions.
Nah, probably not.
D. Ask for a 2/3 vote.
No, I'll go with B.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why-
You hitchhiking?
Why can't you change the words?
Because then it goes beyond scope.
It's not a scope thing.
It's also becomes a totally different amendment.
Right. It change. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. It changes. Never mind.
Changes the meaning.
Do we want to look that up though? Why can't you materially change a word? Let's look
Yeah,
up
why
strike and
not?
insert. Because you want to know something. Everyone screws all.
What's the reference point?
I was just gonna look it up. But
It's under a
for
man.
you, it's page 149 through 150. So the last few lines of 149 into 150. Everyone
Delegates.
screws up forms of amendment. I know everyone thinks that's easy, but it really isn't.
Okay. The 2 parts of the motion to strike out and insert must not represent 2 independent questions unless the mover receives unanimous consent to make such a combined motion. Rather, the 2 parts must be germane to each other. That's part of it right there. Thus, in motions of the first type mentioned in the previous paragraph to strike out of and insert words into the same place, the words must be inserted to be inserted must be in some way be related to or address the same issue as the words to be struck out. And in motions of the second type to strike words out in one place and put them into another place, the words to be inserted must not be materially different from the words to be struck out.
Because it converts it into two different motions.
Right.
Is what they're
You
saying.
can adjust it to make it fit into grammatically
right.
into where it goes, but that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure people were clear on that.
Pretty straightforward.
Are you staying for the LNC? No, you can't stay for the LNC.
I can listen down the road though.
Yeah, well, because there's going to be executive session too. I'd have to throw you out anyway.
No, we just go to your room.
No, I mean I'd have to throw you out of the same room.
Yeah.
Like I have to do Wayne all the time.
Okay. Didn't we just ask this question?
I think
Yeah, we did.
I'd get it wrong.
Like, if I take off the pile.
JJ's going, and lots of people don't like that JJ comes to our
I peel off the
meetings.
pile. Look at this. It's upside down. Whoop, there we go.
People have been giving JJ a hard time and going, "You're such an outside troublemaker.
Yeah, I
You're
saw
an
that.
outside instigator."
I saw that thread and I'm going, shut up, dude. You know what you're talking about.
You saw what I invited him to object.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd win a vote of the LNC. I think he'd get a lot of stink eye if he objected, but okay, go ahead.
Okay. Reconsideration. In a committee,
Oh, okay.
the motion to reconsider
It's
A.
in order at any time.
is out of order.
No.
B always requires 2/3. C can be made by a member who is absent when the vote on the
Yes.
question was taken. Or D must be made by someone who voted on the prevailing side.
C.
Yeah, it's C.
But that's
These questions are easier today, I swear.
though unlike not in a committee.
Yeah.
It can't be made by somebody who is absent. Because the requirement isn't you not be on the losing side, it's that you be on the winning side, which isn't the same thing.
Right.
But on a committee,
It's
you
different.
just have to not have been on the losing side.
Right.
JJ, you think it would violate the bylaws? I don't think it would. I think the bylaws say it's only required to be open to party members. Our meetings.
Probably.
I don't think it's generally open, but it might be in violation of open meeting laws,
Which is totally different.
which was a subject at the convention, at the NAP. I know they hate NAP. At the NAP conference this weekend, they talked about open meeting laws. And I would tend to think a political party probably is subject to open meeting laws. But
I think it varies by state, to be honest.
at the NAP convention, they said every state now has open meeting laws.
Well, every state has open meeting laws. What I'm saying is I think whether it applies to political parties, it varies by state.
I bet you where we're incorporated it does, but anyway. Bylaws say party members. And when it says anyone can record it, I think it means anyone who's allowed to be there.
Yeah.
But nobody's going to complain.
No.
I mean, well, no, let me rephrase that. Someone may complain, but it ain't going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Because remember the last time somebody complained, we had to throw Richard out.
Richard
Brown.
Oh.
It was a credentials committee meeting, and somebody who didn't like...
I wasn't there for that one.
Yeah. And they insisted that JJ get thrown out, and I had to apologize to Richard later, because as a member of the public then, of the party, I said, if JJ can't be allowed, because he's not a party member, I go, Richard's not a party member either.
Uh-huh.
And they threw Richard out. I thought that was going to be the ace in the hole to let JJ stay, because I didn't think they would be such bitter little bitches that they would throw out Richard, but they did.
Was that Hogarth?
She was the chair. She voted to throw out Richard, I believe, but she isn't the one who raised the original objection.
No.
I don't remember who it was that raised, but you have to be there to record it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure anyone can record it, but it's also like saying anyone can buy a Lamborghini. Yeah, no laws preventing me from buying a Lamborghini, but I don't have the money.
Yeah. Little background, JJ. Back in 2008, I was the first person to actually video broadcast an LNC meeting. And at the time, there was no bylaw to address it. And I did it. I just went ahead and did it anyway. And Aaron Starr tried to say, well, I don't think they can do that. And I just said, show me where we can't. And that ended that in a hurry.
but no one, there's no way an objection to a helpful non-party member being there. And I know that certain person on the LNC doesn't think JJ's being helpful, but that opinion is not shared. Yeah, it wasn't specifically on you, but I thought the vote for non-members not being able to be present would fail because of the implication that it would throw you out too.
And it didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Bitter little bitches, man.
Whoops, sorry, I'm bumping into things back here. I'm trying to turn my chair a little bit.
Yeah, there's no way a vote to throw JJ out would survive the LNC.
Yeah.
Because most people find his contributions useful.
Yeah. And it's kind of dumb to throw a parliamentarian out in the first place.
Yeah, well, and
unless you're up to shenanigans.
Well, but that's the argument, isn't it, that one person is making? I'm not trying to say a name because I'm not trying to shame anybody or tuna shame anyone. Because tuna shaming is the worst kind of shaming. Did you see that meme?
Yeah, I saw that.
Tuna shamed. No, the LNC is no way. But speaking, okay, I'm going to be a bad guy.
Uh-oh.
I'd like to hear
Are you assuming another gender?
Yes, I'm going to be a guy for this one.
Okay.
Are you going to look in my pants to prove I'm not?
No comment, because anything I say will get me in trouble.
So I'm considering being a bad guy.
Yeah.
But maybe I shouldn't. So you let me know. And if you think maybe I should, or you don't have an opinion, maybe you can help me on how to go about it. Okay.
Asking me how to be a bad guy. Okay, this will be funny.
Okay. Angela is very.
Excuse me.
This is a good quality, but good qualities can be exploited. Exactly. Angela wants everyone to be heard.
Okay.
Like, she's not one like some past LNCs to close down the chat, to cut off public comment when people want to speak. This isn't about either of this, but I'm just giving examples.
She wants the input.
I'm just giving examples. This isn't going to be about public comment. Or
she wants the input.
To allow LNC alternates to debate freely.
Yeah.
But what that effectively makes, it makes the LNC be comprised of 25 members.
Sure.
I don't believe our bylaws or our rules allow free debate of alternates in LNC meetings. I think the primary has to step aside and let the alternate take the seat for that question.
Okay, here's the question. Here's my first. Wait a second. Do the rules require that switch out happen for the duration of the question, or can it be for any amount of time?
The rules don't say, but I think that's the only logical way to interpret them.
Okay.
Because it's like, think at a convention. If somebody, say an alternate wants to debate, and so the convention delegate steps aside, the alternate is swapped in.
Right.
Do we really think we're going to allow swapping in after the debate for the vote? To me, a question is... It's an entire unit. It's like when the chair wants to debate.
I get what you're saying.
They have to pass the gavel for the entire time.
Right.
And until there's...
I would argue that...
An alternate is not a full member of the LNC.
I would argue that in the absence of clarifying your policy manual to state that you could.
Well, you know, when the policy...
I'm saying also you probably should, too.
When the policy manual is not clear...
Yeah.
And is susceptible to two interpretations, custom prevails.
Right.
Now, the custom of this LNC has been to allow it.
Yeah.
But the prevailing custom of the LNC, if you want to call it custom, I can tell you the prior LNC understood the policy manual in combination with Roberts to mean it was for the entire question.
Yeah, and that's a reasonable interpretation.
Okay, because I've objected to Aaron Starr speaking a million times. Not every time, but when something's been talked to death, and I see LNC full, no question LNC members want to talk, I've objected before.
Yeah.
Tonight with the New Mexico thing, it's been fucking talked to death.
Okay.
And I'm considering objecting to having a 25-member LNC debate this question. And our policy member says we permit free substitution of alternates. But it has to be then a substitution. The primary has to yield the seat for that question. I think that's the only coherent way to interpret that.
It's the only coherent way to interpret it. I agree with you. What I'm saying is that from a technical perspective, if the policy manual doesn't reflect that, it should first.
Now, I don't think the policy manual has to be a million miles long.
Well, no, you could just say it needs to make one sentence to say for the duration of the question. But then the rest of it is absence of that. You could say that they can switch it out if they wanted to, and you could easily see a primary saying, "Well, I'm going to defer to my alternate from this so they can get a word in," and back and forth, which is what Angela's trying to get to without going that way by encouraging participation.
But then you functionally have a 25-member LNC.
Exactly.
And if that's not... And that grants an equal voice to the regions that our bylaws do not anticipate. The regions are supposed to have one voice for 10%. Right. This gives them two voices. Which
unbalances it against the at-larges, yes.
Right.
And the officers.
And we know...
And that's a legitimate problem.
From Platform Committee that the right to debate sometimes is even more important than the right to vote.
Sure. And I've gone on my way, at least in the last Platcom, to defer out to my alternate to let them... Not only let them participate, but there are times I just didn't want to talk, didn't want to deal with it.
But it was always for the whole question.
Yes, it was. Because it didn't make any sense to do it to me otherwise.
What Angela has done isn't to... I don't... Actually, I'm going to go back on custom. I don't think she's actually changed the custom. I think she's just assumed no objection, and nobody has objected.
Yeah.
I don't think she has ever proactively stated that she thinks they have a right to debate. She's called on them, and there's been no objection.
Yeah.
So it's been a without objection type of thing.
Yeah.
Which Nick would do all the time, though he would explicitly say, without objection, Mr. Starr. But he wouldn't even pause, because he would just assume that if someone's going to object, they're going to do it. So I just think Angela's doing it a little bit more informally without saying the words without objection, but is assuming no objection.
Okay, technically speaking, I'm top of the head here. What she could do within the rules to do exactly what she's trying to accomplish, but at the same time not having a 25
I don't think
number
she's.
LNC.
I might have misstated in the beginning here that I'm not trying to make this as something Angela's trying to accomplish versus something I'm trying to accomplish. I was just stating the reality of the situation.
Then let me back that up then. Yeah.
And I don't even know if Angela has considered all of this. Like, I don't think this is necessarily some kind of conscious choice she's made.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it's just her nature.
That's fair. No, that's fair. And I'm not trying to ascribe any nefarious.
Yeah, no, but I also wanted
motives here either.
Yeah, no, and it certainly wouldn't be nefarious.
No.
It would be. I just think it's her nature to do that. I'm not so sure it's calculated.
Because technically you could move to put the committee into an informal discussion or a quasi committee.
Oh, we've done that
and then
before.
include everybody, talk about it, come back out, and then have your vote. You could do that too. It accomplishes the same thing within the rules.
But you would have to, in the motion to go into a quasi committee of the whole or a committee of the whole, say that alternates are included.
Yes, you would. That's correct.
In order for them to have an automatic right to debate.
Right.
I don't think they have an automatic right to debate.
I don't think they do either.
And on things
I'm just saying
like
there's ways to make it happen.
Yeah, no. And on things like, and I normally do not care. Because even before, when Aaron Starr and I were at odds, I objected to him, but rarely. And it was very limited circumstances. It was when it was on a question that we talked to death already.
Right.
We already know what you're going to say, dude. And
he's repeating himself.
Right. And there are full unqualified LNC members that want to talk. Same thing with members of the gallery. Nick was very free on letting members of the gallery speak as well.
Right.
Whitney wasn't, and she was wrong. She should have asked if there was an objection. And Victoria used to do that as well.
Yeah.
Victoria used to just ignore when someone in the gallery raised their hand. You can't unilaterally make the decision you're not going to hear from them.
Right.
You have to put it to the body.
Yeah. And she was notorious for not doing that.
Right.
And it caused all sorts of troubles.
She always passed me over.
She passed me over a lot too.
Oh, and she would say, "No, I'm not letting you." I'm like, "Hello, that's not your choice.
Yeah.
That's the choice of." Now that board, more times than not, voted against hearing from anyone in the gallery because that's just how they were.
Right.
But it's still their choice,
And you know how I am at our board meetings now. If I say something, it's very I pick my spots. But it's usually very limited.
So I have another piece of advice, because I'm not trying to do this to be a jerk.
Yeah.
I am, though, trying to do it from us beating a dead horse and not to unbalance the LNC from what the bylaws intended, which is not to have 25 members and for the regions to have double the voice.
Yeah.
So my other question is, if I anticipate this is going to happen this meeting, should I wait until the circumstance actually comes up, or should I give fair warning at the beginning of the meeting to kind of avoid the situation from coming up? Because I don't like blindsiding people. And I think if you just wait until it actually comes up, it's more insulting.
Well, it's kind of late to do what I would suggest.
No,
meeting.
I'm anticipating it in the. I'm going to be very open on the New Mexico motion.
Yeah.
So, do I at the beginning of the meeting say, "Hey, we have an item of business coming up in which we have talked to death."
Yeah.
And I'm just telling you right off the bat now, unless a representative has swapped in their alternate, I am going to object to alternates debating on this motion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rich is right. We'll take 2/3 because of suspending the rules. Okay, here's how I would handle it, and part of this I know you can't do because it's too late in the day before the meeting to do it.
Oh, I could do it on the list, but
well, not what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Don't assume what I'm going to say before I say it here.
Can I assume your gender, though, or do I have to look in your pants?
Ask Lydia about that.
If I can look in your pants?
Yeah. Here's the deal. Okay, I would discuss this offline with Angela beforehand, if possible. It's kind of late in the day for today to do that.
I already gave Angela fair warning.
Okay, so she knows about this.
I don't. Okay, one thing that's funny online, and it's how quickly things switched.
Yeah.
When this term first started, certain bad actors kept trying to pit Angela and me against each other
Yeah, I know that.
they want to make two strong women fight.
Yeah.
And then they figured out that ain't gonna work.
Right.
Because I don't do anything without running it by Angela. Because Angela actually has officers.
Yeah.
She's so I give her exactly back. You know.
Okay, so if you,
There's nothing I do. It doesn't mean Angela agrees, but I do not blindside Angela.
Okay, so if you two are already communicating on this, fine.
Yeah.
Then my first point is not relevant.
I never blindside Angela.
I would rather like mention it on the front end and not blindside anybody when it happens.
So
give advance warning.
Yeah.
I agree
So
with
what
that.
happens in social media now? Now the narrative switched overnight from these two are at odds and I'm trying to be chair and all this other bullshit to those two are in cahoots and they plan everything and they're thick as thieves. It's funny how that narrative.
And there's an easy way to solve that problem, and it's a very simple one.
What's that?
You guys disagree with some things.
I do. I do.
But she needs to too.
She does too.
She does?
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Yeah. Oh.
So you say specifically, I disagree, and here's why?
Yeah. And
Okay.
some of it though might have been an executive session, but the whole.
No, I mean on the public list.
No, she's done that.
Okay.
I can tell you the LNC knows that Angela and I are not thick as thieves because Angela's had to tell me to shut up before.
Yeah, that's fine. So,
She'd have been like, Ms. Harley.
yeah, I think your best answer is at the start of the meeting with the public comments, whatever. Mention it then.
Yeah, no, but I never, just so anyone knows, she doesn't always agree with what I'm saying, but
And that's good.
Right. I do not blindside Angela.
Because you do not want the chair to be the puppet of the secretary, or vice
Well,
versa.
Angela's nobody's
No,
puppet.
she's not, and that's good, and that's exactly what it should
But that's what's funny though. Anyone who thinks that Angela would be anyone's puppet does not fucking know Angela.
No, and I don't think she is either.
No, but it's the bad actors that don't know anybody.
And my own exposure to her on a one-to-one level has been very limited. But even I can tell that one.
She's very strong-minded. It's just like me. I'm nobody's puppet. Angela and I are a lot alike.
That's not what Wayne said.
That's a different kind of relationship, baby. Okay, who's asking who?
What date is it?
It's the 25th.
And then you're asking me.
Okay, that's what I thought. This is an interesting question. So you think at the beginning of the meeting.
I think at the public comment session is a good point to point it out. Probably the best place.
Then everyone's going to be like gossiping about it in chat, all the bad
Let 'em.
actors. I don't.
Let
George
'em. You can't-
Phillies.
George Phillies can go suck on his own polymers. The reality. And Lucchini can join him. The problem is this: you can't stop them from doing all their sniping.
I
all
know,
you can
but
do
I
is
don't
just
like it.
Say your piece, and
I
let
don't
them
care if
bitch
they
and moan
snipe
they want.
elsewhere because I have them blocked elsewhere and I don't have to see it.
Yeah.
Now I just told everyone how to annoy
mean,
me. I'm
You
just
have
not
to
going to look
realize-
at the chat
You have
this
to
time.
realize the Libertarian Party of Massachusetts, not to be confused with the valid party affiliate in Massachusetts, LAMA. Are a
Neither
bunch
of them are
sour
called the
grapes.
Libertarian Party. So one is called the Unified Libertarians of Massachusetts. That's the legitimate affiliate.
And who has the Facebook page? It says Libertarian Party of Massachusetts.
I think that's when they were the party.
It's still out there.
I'm going to murder you. Don't do that. I need a knife. Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Okay, are you ready, Mr. Seebeck?
I guess so.
The resignation of a member of a committee
Oh, here we go again.
should be addressed A, to the president, B, to the chairman of the committee, C, to the executive committee, D, to the appointing power.
Ooh. A resignation from a committee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, give me A again. Give me A.
And A, when they say president here, they mean the president of the society.
They mean not the chair of the committee.
Right.
Okay.
Because B is the chair of the committee.
The answer A is no. B is what?
The chair of the committee.
Maybe. C?
The executive committee.
No.
D is the appointing power.
I think it's D.
It is D. It is D, and
yeah.
you could explain why now.
Because if you have a hybrid committee like we have, where some members are appointed by a county and others are appointed at large, and they're the ones who are responsible for putting in replacements, they're the ones that need to know you're quitting.
Right.
Yeah.
That is easy. Richard had a good idea, and this then makes it incumbent upon me to mention this ahead of time. Let the alternates speak during public comment if they want to. So they need to be aware then that that's when they need to do. Good thought. By the way, I did get the Douglas bylaws appointment.
I saw that.
And
I saw that because somebody got pissed. Quit. Rage quit.
I don't think it was over that.
No.
I don't think it was over that. We already... No, let me put it to you this way. It wasn't over that. This person had already wanted to quit and had been talked out of it for... This had already been coming. Maybe that was a slight factor, but that wasn't the reason.
This is a Sunday.
And Sean Vadney, if you haven't seen, got appointed to platform.
Sean's got a good head on his shoulders. So, okay, this was a Sunday.
You fucking bastard.
No, you had one before. Now it's my turn.
You fucking bastard. You flocking bastard.
You fucking ice hole.
You bastard.
You fucking ice hole. You gotta go watch Johnny Dangerously once.
Oh, this is a good one because I've disagreed, but I'm wrong and Robin. Okay, no. I disagreed on a related question I still think I'm right on. But on this question, I would have... Never mind.
I don't know what you're even talking about.
Richard's going to be like...
I don't know what you're talking about.
Richard Brown's going to be in comments going... Meh! Oh, wait, where's Bunchy? Richard is going to be in comment. Richard, this is going to be you in a minute.
The pain.
Okay.
All right, what's the question?
The bylaws provide that the president shall appoint all committees.
Okay.
This power, in the absence of the president,
Okay.
A, transfers to the occupant of the chair.
Keep going.
So,
Keep going.
fuck president, chair, okay?
Yeah.
In the absence of the chair,
Yeah, keep going.
A,
Keep going.
transfers to the occupant of
you.
the chair. B, transfers to the first vice chair.
Keep going.
C, does not transfer to the chair if someone else presides. D, transfers to the executive board.
It's C, unless the bylaws explicitly say the duties
You are
transfer.
correct.
Yes.
And I don't agree with Roberts here.
This was a side deal of when we were talking about who's the chair after JBH left.
I can send it to you, Richard. It's my ringtone. We need to be at National Convention and someone needs to call a bunch of phones. Have that for the ringtone.
Little mask call.
I do have it for my ringtone. Wayne wants to murder JJ now over this. Are we like even now?
Yes, we are.
No, I'm still ultimately up ahead one.
Well, it's because you started first. See, Lydia's ringtone starts off with, yeah, baby.
Mine was a duck before.
The quacking.
Yeah, and before that it was the hit me on my... No, before that was the Twitter one, then it was hit me on my iPhone. I liked when Wayne's was boots and pants, the Geico pig.
Yeah.
That was great.
See, my general ringtone is Van Halen 1984 because it's so unique that nobody uses it.
I thought you had the boing, boing.
No, that's just notifications.
You need Bunchy. We all need Bunchy.
But
We
then
are
the,
all Bunchy.
But then when my mom calls me, it's
We don't have
small
Bunchy
town.
on here. Here, move your Simply Lemonade. Because
It's actually empty, except for
this,
a swig.
this is a crime. This is an absolute crime. Bunchy must be everywhere. Where's Pink Flame of Liberty? Overlays. Where's my overlays? Help me.
I don't know. It's
Hold
an
on.
apple. I work in the real world.
How come I can't find him on here either? He's not called Bunchy on here because a running thing. Because I didn't know what he was before.
There he is.
There he is. Okay.
Looks like a green shmoo.
Okay. We've got...
Putting into your green screen, your keyboard.
We've got Bunchy.
It looks like a green shmoo. Don't worry, I'll get that later.
Okay. I was going to say, trash can's not there.
I know, but I'm just aiming. See, I hit him, and now he's in pain. It looks like a green shmoo. You know what the shmoo is, right?
No.
You don't know what the shmoo is?
No.
Oh, man. We have somebody here who does not know what Little Abner is.
I don't know what Little Abner is.
The comic strip? Oh, man. You're missing some classic stuff there.
Look how sexist Richard is being. He...
It. Anyway.
They.
Is there more than one?
They has been used as a singular in English for a long time.
I agree with you. There are people who bitch and moan about it, but I agree with you.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready for this?
How do you get... do you have an iPhone? Do you have a real phone, like an iPhone?
That's not a real phone.
Because there's all kinds of videos on how to do it.
That's a crapple product.
But I can send you the file. I'm sure it's similar for Android. You just need the short clip, and it's in settings where you can set it.
Just get find the MP3 for it.
I need to shorten the clip, though, because this clip... All I need is the first... and then it will repeat. Because the clip I have here is like 30 or 40 seconds of it just repeating.
Is that an MP3 or a different format?
It's an M4A, but I can make it an
M4A
MP3.
can work MP3 easy. Yeah. There's lots of things that can do that.
Richard won't say they. Well, I bet I can get you to say they, Richard, when you're quoting the policy manual at Angela, because we switched all the he's and she's and theirs to they. Oh, it's easy then on an iPhone, Richard. I'll send you the file. You need to sync your phone so that it's in your music library, and then, because you can set any song to be your ringtone. Okay, let's continue.
Smooths aren't people. Somebody's taking dog patch way too literally. Okay, ordinary committees are A, standing and special committees. B, nominating committees. C, committee of the whole. Or D, only committees are invested with power.
A.
Yeah, that's A.
Okay.
B and C are not ordinary committees, and D doesn't make any sense.
So that will motivate me to make it
That's
into
an easy
a
one.
short clip for Richard there. Okay.
A short clip, huh?
Yeah.
Going to use a pair of clippers or a pair of scissors?
Are you ready? I'm getting drunk and I haven't drank that much. How much rum did he put in this? I think my husband's trying to poison me.
He wants the insurance money.
Joke's on him! I don't have any! Okay. Actually, my work, I think, has... there's like a standard. He wouldn't get that much, though.
This would be just one time your salary, isn't it?
No, it's only like $20,000 and would
That's
go...
it?
Yeah, in the
Man.
house, mortgage is in my name, so it would go immediately to that.
A bunch of cheapskates.
Yeah, that's like... Yeah.
What I have with the universal life is one times my salary.
Well, this is the one you don't have to pay for. It just comes with the job.
That's mine too, yeah. If I want to pay more, I can get more, but why bother?
An adjournment of an assembly.
Okay.
A.
Which way?
A. Terminates a meeting and may end a session.
Okay.
B. Dissolves the assembly.
Not necessarily.
C. Is an order at any time during a meeting.
Not necessarily.
D. Is used only to terminate a session.
A is the best answer.
It's A.
Yeah, because we're not talking sine die, talking adjournment.
Right, so that's why it's not B.
Lock away in his cell and make him listen to Bunching on repeat.
Yeah.
Che is a proper noun for the idiot in Cuba.
Why isn't it C?
It's not a C because there are times when an adjournment is not in order. I forget
It's a
when,
privileged motion, isn't it, though?
I believe so.
So then why wouldn't it be
Well,
in
sometimes
order?
it's privileged, sometimes it isn't.
Oh, well, it's not in order. Okay. Well, sometimes it's a privileged motion when is it a privileged motion in a meeting? When someone else doesn't have the full. I think when there's no other
It's a
question
privilege to most
pending.
close the meeting immediately, may under conditions where some other provision from the meeting exists, so it won't dissolve the assembly,
Right.
and where no time for adjourning the present meeting has been set. Otherwise, it's a main motion, which is not necessarily in order at any given time,
Why not?
because there may be another main motion pending.
No. When.
Yeah.
No, you're missing. If it's a main motion, it can only be made when there's no other motion pending. Is that
Right.
what you're saying? Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It can't,
okay.
It
okay.
can't be in order as a main motion when there's another one sitting there.
Yes, okay,
Yeah.
I got you. I got you. I
Yeah.
thought you were saying it wasn't in order as a main motion just inherently.
No.
But
No.
you mean
No. When there's one sitting out there being
right,
addressed.
you're right. You can't do it. You can't interrupt.
Another one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to be listening to all those workshops, Richard. I just have. They're not up yet.
I'm actually keeping pace today.
They
Okay.
could take forever.
All right.
But yeah, there's a bunch of them I want to listen to.
Pardon my snoz. Jeez Louise. I know, I've been fighting this off all week. I think
That's nasty.
it is nasty. I think I got a bunch of gunk from the Pergo on my nose or
That's
something.
yeah, sure. You got a coke habit in
Pergo and carpet pad and
I know libertarians think cocaine should be legalized, Mike, but you should lay off a little bit.
just lay off some like carpet pad.
That's some good stuff.
No, it's not. Okay. Let me try this again. I can't talk. If the bylaws require the election to be by ballot,
Says who?
why the bylaws? A. No motion is in order that would force disclosure of a member's vote. B. The vote can be taken by another method if no member objects. C. The vote must be taken by ballot, but if a candidate receives all but one or two of the votes cast, the vote on a motion to make the vote unanimous. What? Okay, let me
Must also be by ballot.
let me reread that C because
but-
this is a paragraph here.
Okay.
The vote must be taken by ballot, comma, but if a candidate receives all but one or two of the votes cast, comma, the vote on a motion to make the vote unanimous may be taken by viva voce.
No.
D. Viva voce voting is, don't say that 5 times fast, is permitted if there was only one candidate for an office.
A.
No motion is in order that would force
No.
disclosure of a vote.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that was confusing.
Well, yeah, because that C is a freaking paragraph there.
But
it's like, what?
what gets us, if it had said you can do the motion to make it unanimous, but that must also be by ballot, that would be correct.
Right.
A is confusing perhaps for us because generally ballot assumes secret,
Yep.
but your bylaws can make it a non-secret ballot,
Correct.
which is what our bylaws do.
Right. So,
And remember,
but this was a motion to disclose it, not a bylaw. Yeah.
but I'm just saying,
Right.
in general, what they're trying to get at, yeah. But remember, Mike, even the Nazis had non-secret ballots too.
Well, yeah, that's because they're not, who to kill off
But
next.
but JJ said actually they didn't. But you remember that's what
Yeah.
somebody wrote.
Okay, Gregory Koch.
Did I do
Gregory
with it?
asked I don't know if you, no, you didn't. Gregory Koch asked the question, what about a motion in the bylaws? That one is usually done by a, first by a voice, second by show of hands, and third
No,
by
I
counted
learned
if
something.
necessary. What?
I learned something, and
Wait, we do
JJ
it.
confirmed.
Eh?
We've never followed this. First of all, anything that requires a 2/3 vote should never be by voice. I already knew that. It should always be by raise of hands. You
Okay.
should never go to voice first.
Okay.
We ignore that.
I personally hate voice votes anyway.
But there's another one. I think it had to do with bylaws. I might need to look this up where I had a text with JJ that said, standing, not raised hand. I thought it was raised hand, but I knew it shouldn't have been voice. But there was a provision I just found that said certain 2/3 votes, and I'm not even sure if it said certain or all. And if it said all, then that would contradict
Yeah.
that said it should be counted. Unless it's nearly unanimous, it said that the count for something that requires 2/3 should be in the minutes.
Convention-wise, I never like voice voting anyway.
But
It's too
JJ,
easy.
where was that? Because
It's too
I
easy
asked you
for-
about that.
It's too
'Cause-
easy for volumes to get to be disproportionate, you know?
Oh yeah, especially when you have a mix of men and women, because men
Yeah.
are just naturally louder too.
Yes, we're naturally big mouths. Yes.
JJ, we just talked about this. What was that section I found that said something about 2/3 votes that the counts should be recorded in the minutes, which means it has to be counted. And I wasn't sure if that was all 2/3 vote or whether it was just bylaws amendments. But you and I just texted you about this the other day. And I'm using my phone to record, so I can't look up our private message history. Let's look in minutes, because I think that's what I was looking
I'm
at.
looking at voting, so.
Okay, I'll look in minutes unless JJ puts it on the screen. Because this was just last week, and we haven't, like, chatted up a storm this week, so it shouldn't take long to go look back. Minutes. Does it have voting in here? Well, I'm just going to look up the general section on minutes 48. Where is minutes?
That is section
No,
48.
I found the section, but the part, I don't know if it was in this section. I'm assuming it was. JJ, come on, I just talked to you about this. No, it's not here. He's not answering me. He's being so
Maybe he's looking
obstinate.
for it, too.
But this really just happened.
And Gregory asked the question, would it be in order to move to amend the bylaws to make the ballots not secret? Yes, with proper notice.
Yeah, if your bylaws require notice for bylaws amendments, some allow bylaws amendments from the floor.
Which is...
But JJ, you
Okay.
remember when I asked you this, don't you?
See, he says he couldn't find it, yeah.
But we had this I'm not dreaming, am I? We had this conversation.
I wasn't in the conversation, I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look this up when I'm not on my when we're not using my phone to record, because I could have sworn we had this conversation.
If written records are prepared in counting the vote, such as tellers' tally sheets, they are subject to the same retention and recount rules as
no.
ballots. But that's not where you're getting
Now
at.
this was a 2/3
It leans
vote
in that
thing.
direction, but it's not there.
Richard, I had read somewhere that said that the vote for things requiring 2/3, and I don't know if it was all things requiring 2/3 or bylaws amendments requiring 2/3, that the vote count should be recorded in the minutes, which means that whatever vote it was talking about should be a counted vote. Maybe I'm going to look under
It
bylaws.
says the teller's reports are under the minutes.
Yeah, no, this wasn't about teller's reports. This was specifically about things that required a 2/3. 57.9, JJ found it.
Okay.
Because this was something I didn't know, so it was under amend bylaws.
Yeah.
Yeah, the final vote on a bylaws amendment should be counted and recorded in the minutes.
Yep, it's right there.
Unless we never do that, unless somebody calls for a division.
Right.
Does anybody do that?
I've never seen it done.
Because now we got a gotcha, though. We can fuck with somebody. Don't you just love Roberts to fuck with somebody? Isn't that the purpose of Roberts, just to fuck with people?
It seems like it some days.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I learned like 2 years ago. I found
I mean,
that
we've recorded counted votes as a matter of rule, a matter of process, but not when it's just a voice passing.
there isn't a standing rule that overrides that.
No, there's not one on that one, no.
No, there isn't a standing rule that
At
goes
least not
voice.
Colorado, there's not.
Not nationally either.
Yeah.
57.9, Richard.
Yeah, JJ's good.
So that was news to me. I must have been researching revisions when I saw that,
Could be.
because I'd been doing a lot of reading on revisions after I found that thing in the Principles of Interpretation. And I was like, whoa. And it surprised me 2 years ago when I learned that you shouldn't be doing voice vote for 2/3.
Well, now we know why.
Not for just bylaws amendment, any 2/3 call the question,
No,
whatever.
And to be fair, I can almost agree with that. Yeah, it slows things down. But again, because of modulations of volumes of voices...
Does it really slow things out if you ask people to stand rather than say via voce? Not really.
Usually, for a standing vote, no, but for a counted vote, it would
Yeah,
it would slow it
counted,
down.
yeah. But I'm talking about, like, calling the question.
Yeah, but it's... Okay, yeah, this just says bylaw amendments.
Okay,
only.
he says it's required. He says it's a should rule. Read it again, 57.9. Oh, you don't have... Oh, you have it there,
I got
though.
it right here. The final vote on a bylaw amendment should be counted
yeah.
and recorded in the minutes, unless it is unanimous.
It's a should.
It's a should.
Convention Rule 2.1, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember all of our rules.
I haven't worked in the National Convention
I've
rules, so
read too many bylaws lately. I don't even remember our bylaws. 2.1. Ah, he's right.
Voting by voice or rising. If any delegate objects to the ruling on the outcome of the vote, a rising vote shall be conducted. If 20 or more delegates object to the ruling on the outcome of a rising vote...
So he's right. But where it says voice or rising, I think that means for 2/3 it should be rising.
Yeah, it's chair's discretion right there from the looks for the way I read it.
Right. So, or with the parliament... Or what the rules say, our parliamentary authority. So I think, but you're right on. I never noticed this because it's never been a controversy.
No, it really hasn't. I mean, the way the rule is written, it implies voice, and if somebody objects, rising, somebody objects, then counted, which is the way we've traditionally done it.
But it does override the counting thing for the bylaws amendment.
Correct.
But I actually don't think it's a bad idea. But it would take a long time. And then remember, it says the final vote.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be any of the amendments.
All right.
Okay. Interesting.
Stuff. Like that nonsense for us, a wrestling motion. Yeah.
It got seconded.
So? There are some people in the convention who will second a ham sandwich.
Aaron Starr had a bunch of motions that didn't get seconded in 2018.
Well, that's because it's Aaron Starr. So it gets a lot of motions that wouldn't be seconded because it's Aaron Starr.
So whose question is it?
You're asking. No, you're asking me.
Am I?
Yeah, because you just got the last
okay.
one. Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure.
No, I think you're right. It's an odd day, right?
Yeah, and then you get another odd one because this is the 31st, so you can pull ahead. That's what she said.
That's what she liked.
Oh, this is something we don't do.
That's what he liked, too.
This is something we don't do.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to just... Maybe you know it, but we don't do this.
Okay.
Because it's talking about a program committee. We don't have a program. And it's not talking about...
JJ's keeping score. Neither one of us has got one wrong yet.
Yes, I have.
Oh, you haven't?
I've gotten one wrong. Most definitely did, and so did you.
We did?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Oh, maybe he's right. I don't know. I've been drinking. Leave me alone.
Because you started first.
Leave me alone. I've been drinking.
Not enough.
Okay. We don't have a program committee. Just so you know, this program committee...
We should have one, but we don't have one.
No, you're talking about something... What do you mean by program committee?
A program committee takes the positions in the platform
Yeah,
and
that's not what
establishes
this is
how to
talking
get
about.
there.
No, when they mean program committee here, they mean somebody who's like setting the program for a convention. So like the special speakers.
That's the program committee.
So I knew you would think it was talking... Because we use this terminology different in the LP.
Okay.
But this isn't what this is talking. This is talking about like a convention program.
Okay.
Okay. The report of a program committee of a convention, they said that, I didn't even get that.
Makes okay.
Is adopted by A, a majority vote, B, a 2/3 vote, C, a majority vote except that a 2/3 vote is required for adoption if the program contains special orders, D, a majority vote provided that any special orders contained in the program must be voted on separately and adopted by a 2/3 vote.
Okay. This is a program committee of a convention.
Mm-hmm.
And they're putting a report out to be adopted.
Mm-hmm.
The choices are A was majority, you said.
Yeah.
What was B?
2/3 vote.
Okay. And C?
Majority except that a 2/3 vote is required if it contains special orders.
And then D was majority, but if there are special orders, split them out into 2/3 form.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm not. I don't. The safest way is B, but I don't think that's right. A, I don't think is right at all, because there could be special orders in there. The question becomes: is do you split them out with their own separate votes, or do you include them in the whole thing? And because this is a report of a committee, you could move to divide the question, but if you don't do that, then they're still included. So I'm going to say C.
It's actually A.
Majority?
Yeah, I wouldn't have got this because I don't know what a program fucking committee is.
Really? See, it jinxed us, JD.
Okay, let's look this one up.
Yeah, this isn't in the weeds.
Because we don't do this, is why. We have no experience with this.
Section 59, page 610, 21 to 25, which is, where is it here? Right before the section on credentials committee. Formal organization, procedure of convention, right before credentials.
Adoption of convention program.
So you have a different section there.
Oh, they probably changed this.
Because I don't have that. What I have under here is right before credentials committee.
But here's where I found it talks about the 2/3 vote. But you might have something.
I have it right. Okay, I'll read off what this one says. This is under in the 11th under the section formal organization procedure at the convention. It says each of these committee reports is debatable and amendable. In an ordinary convention of society, however, debate or proposals or for amendment of any of them seldom occur, and the reports are likely to be adopted without dissenting vote if the committees have done their work well. The vote required for their adoption is a majority for the reports of the credentials and the program committee, and normally a 2/3 vote for that of the committee on standing rules, as explained 619, 620. With the adoption of these separate reports, the convention is officially organized for conducting business.
Okay, mine says, it's talking about the program committee.
Yeah, whoops.
It says a majority vote adopts the program even if it contains special orders. While the making of a special order requires a 2/3 vote under ordinary circumstances, the situation is different in the case of a convention program where the special order is part of a complete order of business being adopted for the current session. I don't agree with that, but that's what it says.
I don't agree with that either.
I don't agree with that, but that's
either.
what it says.
Because that's carving an exception that doesn't need to be one.
Why aren't they carving the same exception then for the Convention Rules Committee? Oh, it might contain special rules of order, but since it's adopted as one big bulk package, it's just the majority. Same logic.
Yep. I agree.
But this is just something we need to learn.
Yeah.
It's an exception that makes no fucking sense.
It is an exception that makes no sense. Okay. So, see, you JJ, you jinxed us. We now missed one. Okay.
But you get another shot, but now you're not going to catch ahead, though.
I'll have to catch up at least.
Yeah, you could catch up.
Yeah.
Are you ready, Mr. Seaback?
I relish the effort. It takes her a second to get it.
No, that too. But this one, because we do things differently in the LP.
Okay.
So I'm giving you a big hint that it's not what we do in the LP necessarily. I haven't even looked at the answers. They could be. Never mind. I shouldn't have even said that.
Just go. Ask the question.
Minutes must contain
60 seconds.
A. Complete reports given by a committee chairman. B. Proceedings of a committee of the whole. C. All secondary motions that were lost. D. All main motions with their disposition except normally those withdrawn.
The minutes must contain these?
Yes.
Give me those choices again.
Complete reports given by a committee chairman. B. Proceedings of a committee of the whole. C. All secondary motions that were lost. D. All main motions with their disposition except normally those withdrawn.
It has to be in there. You normally include reports as appendices, I thought. However, we don't always do that. Because we sure in the hell don't include like the standing committee reports like bylaws and platform in the convention minutes.
I do.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Alicia did.
We don't do it at the state level.
I did.
Okay. B was...
And no offense, but our former... The secretary prior to me didn't do things right all the time.
Yeah. B was...
A committee of the whole.
Okay. C was...
All secondary motions that were lost.
And D...
D was all main motions with their disposition, except normally those withdrawn.
I gotta go with B because it's the only one to me that makes any sense. The other one should be in there all the time anyway. I don't know the answer to this one.
Okay, it's D.
It's D?
Yes. I think you need to read this
I
more
think
carefully.
I think I do. Because that's like royally confusing.
But the problem is we don't do this in the LP. We do include reports as appendices.
Oh, I see where I'm getting mixed up. Must contain all main motions. You know.
Well, but you could argue about those withdrawn. We include those withdrawn.
Yeah. I mean, you think you should.
But it's not required by Roberts.
Because aren't the minutes supposed to kind of just give a summary tracking of the flow of the meeting?
Not according to Roberts. You don't include amendments in the minutes according to Roberts.
That's wrong too.
We have a special rule of order in the LP, at least nationally, that says all, I forgot the way it's worded. It's basically all motions, I think, because we even include motions to extend time.
Sure.
But according to Roberts, it's just main motions as amended. And why I disagree with that is because it can be amended to look nothing like how it started. And it's still credited to that person as moving it.
And you don't know how it got there.
Right. You don't know how it got there. You don't know how people voted.
See, to me, if you read the minutes of a meeting,
you should be able to
to figure out what the hell happened in the meeting pretty clear and straightforward.
Just the business.
As if you were there.
Yeah, it did. Well, it's not a transcript of what people said,
No, it's not a
though.
full transcript.
Right.
But you can draw the gist of what is supposed to be.
The formal stuff.
Right.
Okay, but I want to read the special rule of order we have, because we add a lot more than you need to. I agree. I'm the one who added to this special order, so I obviously agree with it.
Yeah.
But and even though it makes a lot more work for me, I'm not about making less work for me. I'm about
I think it's just a better way to do it.
What's more meaningful for the members? Meeting minutes. Okay, so our special rule of order says copies of reports submitted for review as appendices.
Yeah.
Then the email ballot thing says it could be in the secretary's report. Then complete text of all motions made with notations of any voice counts for rising votes or votes by show of hands announced by the chair. So all motions get noted in ours.
And to me, that makes sense.
And that would include withdrawn motions.
Yeah.
Motions that die for lack of a second, though Roberts does require you to do that. But we have stricter things. Now, the motion to go into a committee of whole gets recorded, but the proceedings of a committee of whole do not get recorded.
That makes sense in one way, yeah, because it's supposed to facilitate more open discussion anyway. Okay,
Oh, my damn bra strap.
Yeah, just take it off. Nobody will care.
Boom, chaka, wow, wow. But I knew that would be confusing because I do a lot of extra work. But to be honest with you, Alicia did that too.
I think it's just a better way to do it.
And I learned from Alicia. So I did minutes that way before I even realized that it was more than Roberts required. And then once I realized that, I authored the special rule of order. But that has certainly been our custom for years.
The few times I was pressed into service when I was in Riverside, even though I was the treasurer, I was pressed to do secretary stuff because the treasurer wasn't there. Mm-hmm. I took minutes that way.
Yeah.
Without ever knowing word one about Roberts at that point.
Yeah, but
because to me it just made sense. Capture what the hell happened in the meeting.
But I made the special rule of order to codify our custom.
Yeah. But I just came across because to me it just makes
you're asking.
It seemed to me like common sense. So. Okay. So after all that, I'm still down one.
Yay.
Okay. But it's a Sunday. So I get a 3-pull.
was a Sunday?
Yeah.
You fucking bastard. You suck. I hope you get this wrong.
I need to get this one right.
You bastard.
You break my losing streak here.
If a question is subject to objection of the... You want to know what? Even though our special rules say all motions, I think that kind of defeats the point of objection. I don't know if I'd record that. I've never successfully been a part of a meeting where there is successful, I think, objection to consideration.
I've done it once.
Do I need to add this to my bucket list since I did the expungement? And I got to cross that off?
I've done it once. And that one made my state chair go scrambling for Roberts because he had no idea what the hell I was doing.
Oh, you'll get this, you fucking bastard.
Famous last words.
No. If you don't get this, kick in the ass. It's coming, kick in the ass. Okay, there's a song, never mind. Done correct, okay. Dividing the basic rules of an organization.
Dividing the rules?
Into a constitution and bylaws.
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere.
Okay. Is an appropriate practice only when A, the Constitution and corporate charter are combined in a single document. B, the Constitution duplicates much of the corporate charter. C, the bylaws contain the most essential provisions. D, the Constitution is made more difficult to amend.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Kick in the ass, it's coming, kick in the ass.
The reason we went through this whole merge of our Constitution and bylaws was because there was a move to make bylaws harder to amend to the 2/3 of the majority, and we had a majority in the bylaws and 2/3 in the Constitution. So what was D again?
The Constitution is more difficult to amend.
That was why it was done separately. That wasn't the reason why it was done separately in the first place, but that was an effect of it. What's C? Anyway, I gotta make you read.
The bylaws contain the most essential provisions.
And B?
The Constitution duplicates much of the corporate charter.
And A says...
The Constitution and the corporate charter are combined in a single document.
I don't know much about A. B was that they are...
One duplicates much of the other.
Which is kind of dumb. I'm going to say C. That the bylaws contain the most essential stuff.
Fucker. It's D.
It is?
I'm going to kick your ass. Yes, that's the only reason to have a separate constitution is if the Constitution is more difficult to amend.
But that flies in the face of why we were yelling to get it to 2/3 of the bylaws in the first place.
No, that's why we wanted... No, that's why we had a separate... And that's why Jeff Orrick was opposed to combining them because it would require the bylaws to be made the same level as the Constitution.
Yes.
And he wanted the Constitution to be more difficult so we could put less essential things in the bylaws. Actually, the reason to have a separate Constitution and bylaws is twofold. One is that the Constitution needs to be more difficult to amend because it contains the most essential provisions. The bylaws are supposed to contain the less essential provisions, therefore not needed to be protected by a higher vote threshold.
But that flies in the face of the whole movement to move everything to 2/3 in the first place.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's the reason to have them separate. It's not that it's desirable to have them separate, but if you have them separate, we actually had the ideal structure to have them separate, but we wanted to put them together, because the modern practice is not to have anything like your bylaws amendable by 50%.
Right.
But it was also so that members wouldn't have to look at two documents. It was to make it easier. That was our main reason.
But in that case, our system was totally structured wrong anyway, because we had a lot of essential pieces in the bylaws that then should have been in the Constitution.
No, when it says essential, it means existential, like the purpose of the organization, who are like things that would destroy the essential character of what you are if they were changed. That's what they mean by essential. And your amendment thresholds, those should be in the Constitution, which they were.
Right.
So the very foundational things are supposed to be in the Constitution. Ours were set up right.
I was just thinking of structural pieces rather than what
but
you're
let's
saying.
look this up. Let's look up. I think it's in the beginning.
It's in
Constitution.
Chapter 1, Section 2.
Is it? That part?
Section 2, page 14.
You gonna read it? Let's see if that says that, because it might
Whoa.
say what I'm saying someplace else.
Toss a book on the floor. It'd be a good idea.
Constitution. While you're doing that.
Unless the Constitution is made more difficult to amend than the bylaws, however, no purpose is served by separating these two sets of rules.
Yeah, so the Constitution's made more difficult to amend.
Yeah.
D.
Which is what I was saying, that there's no point that the modern practice is you combine them because there's no because you want to make the bylaws harder to amend. Well, yeah, because the bylaws are the ones you need, not the Constitution. The Constitution is, because of the change in the modern practice, is basically a superfluous document. You don't freaking need it.
Unless it's more difficult to amend than the bylaws. That's the only purpose.
There's no purpose to it because the bylaws just got practice now is to make them 2/3.
No, but it was.
So what's the Constitution threshold on 3/4?
It can, yeah.
There's no point to that.
Oh no, there's plenty of states. You did that study. There's a bunch of states that.
And
have
I
that.
argued on every single one about that they needed to get their shit right.
And
Iowa had a 9/10 provision on some of their pieces, which was absurd.
because the only thing that was in their constitution though was like the statement of principles and like it was things that were really core, while the bylaws had less
yeah.
essential.
I mean, as far
things.
as I'm concerned, the only thing that needs to be 7/8 is the SOP
Yeah.
and a second padlock.
Well,
Can't forget the second padlock.
the force field.
Now give me that thing.
Oh, it's me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you
You
bastard.
could have gotten way ahead of me and you fucked up.
See, JJ jinxed me. I blame it
He
on him.
did. I do. Let's blame JJ. I'll drink to that, fucker.
Here.
He's such a fucker, man. An asshole. What kind of asshole wears a Mensa shirt?
Isn't it sexist anyway? Isn't it assuming the gender of smart people?
I'm telling you, he must think only men are smart.
Is there a women's group?
I'm gonna throw up. Come on, dude. Enough. JJ likes being called a bastard, so we should just go. JJ is such a nice guy. He's such a pussy cat.
When a member has called for the orders of the day, the chair should A. Ask for a second and put the call to a voice vote. B. Ask for a second and put the call to a counted vote. C. Ask the member to specify the matter he wants considered. Or D. Announce as pending business the subject that is then in order.
A.
No.
It's D.
It's D.
We always fuck that up.
No. It's pretty straightforward, actually.
I know, but I've seen it both ways. I questioned that.
Orders of the day does not require a second.
Or a vote, you just immediately go to orders of the day?
Hang on.
Was it the second part I screwed up? Let's look this up because I think this is super
I gotta
confusing.
unstick this from the next one. There we go.
JJ jinxed. Don't fucking cheat, you
I'm
bastard.
not handing them to you. Jesus. I gotta pull this one off so I can read
He
it.
cheated. You saw it.
222.
JJ jinxed both of us. What should we do? Should we hire a hitman?
In Philadelphia?
He says he's in Philadelphia, but have you ever seen him in
222.
Philadelphia?
I've
I've never seen him in Philadelphia.
I've only been in Philadelphia once, and that was passing through.
Was he there?
I don't know.
You didn't see him, did you?
I didn't know him then.
You didn't see him, did you?
Didn't know him then.
Point proven.
When the orders of the day are called for, the chair can, and ordinarily should, immediately announce as a newly pending business the subject that is then in order. But sometimes the chair or a member may sense that the assembly would prefer to continue consideration
That's where I was getting confused.
of the presently pending question to take up another matter first. In such cases, the assembly by 2/3 vote can set aside the orders of the day as follows.
Shall the orders of the day be set aside is the motion that's usually put, isn't it?
Close. It says, will the assembly proceed to the orders of the day is the question. Or so on. 2/3 in the negative are required to vote down the question and proceed to the orders of the day.
Right. It's kind of like the appeal from the ruling of the chair where the negative has to carry.
No, or the objection to consideration of the question, but yeah. When the orders of the day are called for or announced, a member can move at the time of consideration of any question be extended for a certain number of minutes, or that the rules be suspended and desired question be taken up. Those require 2/3 vote in the affirmative for adoption, and that would
Gotcha.
be a second as well.
Okay, we fucked that up a lot, though.
Yeah.
All right. JJ hexed us. Complete bastard. Ugh, that guy.
No, this is my nose.
Ugh, that guy.
It's hurtful. I think I'm allergic to JJ.
Oh, God. All right. You ready?
No, but anyway.
The chairman of a special committee
Okay.
appointed by the chair
Okay.
is automatically the first person named unless A, the chair does not mention this when naming the committee members. B, he is not a member of the society. C, he or she declines the position. D, all of the above is correct.
Oh, wait a minute. They're doing what with them again? Start at the top.
The chairman of a special committee
Yeah.
appointed by the chair
Right.
is automatically the first person named unless
Okay.
A, the chair does not mention this when naming the committee members.
Okay.
B, he or she is not a member of the society. C, he or she declines the position. D, all of the above are correct.
They mention it unless these are the cases. Right?
It's automatically the first person named
Right.
unless
A was,
the chair doesn't mention this when naming the committee members.
okay. B was not a member.
Not a member.
C was,
The person declines the position.
and D is all the above.
Yes.
I want all the above.
It's just C.
Just what?
Yes. They don't have to. I knew they didn't have to mention it. But I thought maybe if they weren't a member, but here you go. JJ.
Oh, appointed by the chair. Never mind.
I said that!
I don't need to review it. I just see I got it wrong.
JJ hexed us.
JJ!
Okay, so Richard says he's seen him in Washington, D.C. Or maybe it was Chicago. He confirmed it was D.C. But you sent... So, my telephone number is Florida. I'm not in Florida.
Mine was California, even though I was out here for a couple of years. So, you know.
I don't believe he's actually in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I see where I got that wrong. It's the appointed part. My brain was thinking should be named in the motion to appoint the committee. No, that's where I got it wrong.
Ugh, I got itchy.
You got fleas?
No, it's stress. It makes me break out like an itchy. And I'm under a lot of fucking stress.
I warned you about that.
What, with the LNC?
No, just do not overextend yourself.
No, it's the LNC. It's not even overextended. It's just high stress.
Okay. The first order of business in order after a mass meeting is called to order is
I got this wrong before, and I'm not going to get it wrong. I'm going to get it wrong again.
A, reading of the call of the meeting. B, election of a chairman. C, election of a secretary. D, adopting a resolution expressing the sense of the mass meeting.
B.
Yeah, it is B.
Okay, that one. We had a similar question, which was harder, that I got wrong. I don't know mass meetings well, but
I don't either.
But we should learn them because
Yeah.
in New Mexico, that's what's gonna happen.
Uh-huh.
And we should know if they did it right.
And which one of us is going to have to go down there and do the meeting for him?
Well, here's what's funny. Haha, not funny like that. Here's what's ironic. Because they're not yet an affiliate,
Uh-huh.
the LNC actually has a great deal of discretion in telling them how they have to do shit to organize.
That's true.
Because they're not an affiliate yet.
Yeah. There's no interference in autonomy of affiliate when the affiliate doesn't exist.
In theory, I'm not saying we're going to do this.
Yeah.
But in theory, and I can say definitively, I'm not going to do this, but I'm going to put an asterisk, okay? In theory, the LNC can say, we don't like the board you elected. We're not affiliating
yeah.
you. Okay, I would never do that except, like, if they appointed Lucchini as chair, who obviously is hostile to the National Party.
I don't think they're going to do that.
I'm just saying.
But yeah.
But that's why I put an asterisk. Like, if somebody got appointed as chair that obviously is hostile to the interests of the party.
Sure.
Not somebody who just is somebody who doesn't like me, maybe doesn't like the LNC. That's different.
Yeah.
Somebody who's an existential threat like Nick Sarwark or something like that.
Yeah.
Not that he's not in New Mexico, but
They're not going to appoint ex-Governor Richardson as chair.
But in theory, the
Or
LNC
the
could
current
go,
governor is an
we
idiot,
don't
yeah.
like your bylaws, we don't like your board,
Yeah.
we don't like your face, we don't like the way you smell. There's no autonomy.
And it's theoretically possible that the LNC could look at their bylaws and send them back saying, you need to fix A, B, C, X, Y, and Z in your bylaws
Okay.
first, and then we'll look at it.
On that, I would definitely do that.
Yeah.
And it would be procedural things,
Yeah.
not things that are a matter of opinion.
No.
Like,
And that's the opportunity to get it right. is what it
yeah,
comes
they
down
have a
to.
right to define like what their membership is
Right.
going to be. But if there's something in there that's a gaping hole,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's the opportunity for them to get it right, and to get it right out the gate, rather
Yeah.
than to fix it later, which is a good idea anyway.
But we're passing a special. We're already, quote unquote, something that would probably be improper, or potentially improper for an affiliate, because it's not an affiliate. We're passing a special rule of order saying we won't consider a petition for affiliation unless you had an open mass meeting.
Nothing wrong with that.
Right, because you don't want to start out with
We
some
don't
little
need
cabal.
no secret cabal doing
And it doesn't matter who it is, even if it's friends of mine. I don't
Yeah.
care. Okay. Oh God. I'm glad this is your question.
Uh-oh.
It's blanks.
Shit.
You're shooting blanks, Mike.
I hate blanks.
When a motion contains a blank. Okay, you want to know what? That's something else. That's Robert's Obscura that needs to die.
Dying of fire.
Yes, crying for its mama.
There's no need to do it that
It's
way.
stupid. Nobody likes it either.
No. Nobody likes it. It's a pain in the ass to use. It creates confusion.
Yeah,
and
it's
just,
dumb. And the way you vote on it, like, it's, well, no, blanks for people, it's the first person name. So if you're doing a blank thing, it's like a race to the microphone.
Right.
JJ likes it, but he's an asshole, so what do we care? Okay, so when a motion contains a blank,
Okay.
A, it is filled by the use of primary and secondary amendments. B, it is filled by the member who moved to create the blank. C, any number of members may offer proposals to fill it. D, the chairman may fill it.
See.
Yeah, it's C. That was easy. Blanks can get complicated, but that was easy. And that's the whole point.
At least I finally
Is you
broke
have
my
a
losing
blank.
streak. Jesus.
You have a blank, and any number of people can, unless the question gets called, you know.
Finally got one on the board after it was like 5 in a row
Yeah,
there.
blanks suck. Despite what JJ says.
No, blanks are one of those things they should get rid of it.
Die in a fire.
Yeah.
We need a die. This is what we think about blanks. 1 second here. You'd have to close suggestions. Oh, okay.
I'll do that on the first one. That before the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look how my glass matches what I'm wearing. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, but Gene's right. It still does look like the horse is puking onto my shirt.
But it matches.
It does match. Okay. The text of a report
Uh-huh.
that is to be published,
Uh-huh.
which has been amended by the Assembly.
Uh-huh.
A is published with the changes made in the text.
Uh-huh.
B is published as it was presented without the changes.
No.
C is published showing the reported version and the changes that the Assembly
No.
made. D is not published, but it is noted that the report was made and is attached to
A.
the official minutes. No, it is C.
That's stupid. That is
It is
stupid.
published showing the reported version, the changes that the Assembly
That
made.
is stupid. Because the published version is what's got to prove. That is stupid. That's dumb. It's dumber than blanks. It's dum-diddy-dum-dum.
You just pissed because you got it wrong.
It's stupid McStupid face.
Karen Ann, my dear, you really must work on holding back, not holding back your emotions and tell us how you really feel, okay?
Do you remember that time? What LNC meeting was it? Normally I do not. Okay, I'm gonna make a completely filthy reference. I normally don't ejaculate during meetings.
What?
No, you know what I'm talking about. Verbal ejaculation. Normally,
That's not what you said.
I know. But normally I keep my emotions somewhat in check. But do you remember that one time when somebody moved something and I didn't know I had a hot mic and I said, "Oh, God, no." I need
No, but I also remember this is before you joined the party.
Oh, God, no.
No.
Oh, sorry.
This was in Springs. They were doing a radio show, and with one of the local guys who was actually libertarian friendly. He's no longer with us. He passed away a few years ago, unfortunately. But we had 2 local county party members on the show, and I knew them both. And these are both as straight-laced mothers as you can get. Little, like 5 kids between them. Okay.
Oh, literal mothers,
Literal
not
mothers.
mother as in
No,
like you
literal,
mother.
literal parents.
Okay.
Mothers.
Okay, not like MF. Okay.
And this was the same episode where one of them, when they complained about the.
Okay, another.
Yeah, that's true. But this is the same episode where somebody called in and asked, "Well, I got a problem with the libertarian position on prostitution," and this mother of 2 replied,
Oh yeah, you said.
"What don't you like, the sex or the money?"
Sex or the money.
Which I almost wrecked the car. But earlier, before they went to the commercial break, the host mentioned about taking a call from a regular caller who at the time was a raving, sackcloth-wearing, right-wing, theocratic lunatic.
Is the sackcloth optional?
Not in his case.
Okay.
And the response was, "Oh, we'll take a hold of this guy at the break." And then the other person, "Oh God, no." Or actually, it was, "Oh God, no. Do we have to?" Quote unquote.
Remember that first LPCO meeting? Who was it that made that weird sound?
Yeah.
Somebody made some motion. He went, "Oh, he did just like Bunchy." You went, "Oh."
No, that was what's his face out of Pueblo.
Yeah. And everyone was like,
What the hell is that?
And then someone goes, "Hot mic," and he goes, "Oh, sorry."
I'm sitting there and I'm going, "What the hell was that?"
It sounded like he was birthing a fucking bull moose.
In an echo chamber.
There's a clip of it on my
I
YouTube
know,
channel.
That's hilarious. Okay.
Because the look, we were all like, it lasted so long, too.
Okay, are you ready for your chance at redemption? Oh. Because that was a Sunday.
Oh, good. No, but okay.
The Bylaws Committee, working on bylaws for a new society, should A, hold open meetings for comments by all members.
But there's no members if it's a new society.
B, add other members to the committee if they're interested. C, ask for the opinion of a parliamentarian and attorney once the bylaws are adopted. Or D, study copies of bylaw societies similar to the one being formed.
Pick one?
Yeah.
Okay, go again, because there's multiple there that are correct.
A, hold open meetings for comment by all members.
I think so, but that could be my prejudice for open meetings.
B, add other members to the committee
No.
if they're interested.
No.
C, ask for the opinion of a parliamentarian and
Yes.
attorney once the bylaws are adopted.
No, not once they're adopted, before they're adopted. Okay, not C.
D, study copies of bylaws societies similar to the one being formed.
It's A or D. You don't have members, is correct. But they tend to fudge with that kind of stuff. I'm going to say D because you don't have members.
It is D.
Okay.
It is D.
But you know how they sometimes get loosey-goosey
You
with
almost
that.
overthought that one.
I did. I thought it said consult a parliamentarian and attorney before they were
Once they're-
adopted.
no, once they're
No, once they're adopted, it's too late. You're fucked.
Yeah. No, it's D. You got your redemption. You're still up too many. But anyway.
Yay, look at that crooked stick, though.
That's what she said.
Yeah, is your stick always that crooked?
Or are you just happy to see me?
So he said, poor Sean Badney at the Douglas County meeting. I'm like, is it? Because, you know, he's very much like red, white, and blue. These colors don't run, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, is that a constitution in your pocket? Are you happy to see me?
He's a great guy. He's got a good head on his shoulders, but he's a little bit,
He's just Mr. Minarchist.
well, it's not that. He hasn't been corrupted by society in the world
Yeah,
yet.
because he's still very young and
Yeah.
fresh.
And impressionable. He
Yeah.
hasn't corrupted yet.
Oh,
Not like us old farts who've been around the block
Yeah.
and done some things in the streets you don't want to talk about. But anyway.
or been through the party ringer.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll do it to you, man. That'll make you a cynical old bastard. Okay. In a society
Okay.
in which there is not more than a quarterly time interval between regular sessions
Okay.
and a session of 1 day,
Okay.
which of the following requirements does not apply to the motion to reconsider?
Okay.
Ugh.
Keep going.
A. The making of the motion has a higher rank than its consideration.
What?
I understand that.
Good, I don't. Keep going.
B. Debate on the motion may go into the merits of the question to which it applies.
Mm-hmm.
C. It can be made only on the day, excuse me, it can be made only on the same day that the vote to be reconsidered was taken. D. The motion to be reconsidered must be called up during the same session that the vote to reconsider was taken. This is tricky, tricky wording.
It is. Okay.
It does not apply.
Does not apply.
Yes.
Okay. So read off again. Let me sure I understood the whole part of this.
Okay, but let's go over the question again.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay, all right. In a society in which there is not more than a quarterly time interval between sessions.
Right.
So there's going to be another session before a quarter elapses.
Before? Wait. Read
There's
it.
not more than a
Not-
quarterly time interval. So
Okay.
within the next quarter, there'll be another meeting.
But not within this one.
No, within the quarter they're in,
Yeah.
there will be another meeting.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm clear.
Okay.
That's just
The
badly.
session-
That's just badly worded.
Yeah, the session is just 1 day.
Right.
Which of the following requirements does not apply to a motion to reconsider? A. The making of the motion has a higher rank than its consideration.
I'm not sure what that even means. But keep going.
B. Debate on the motion may go into the merits of the question to which it applies.
That's always true. See?
It can be made only on the same day that the vote to be reconsidered was taken.
Maybe.
D. The motion to be reconsidered must be called up during the same session that the vote to be reconsidered was taken.
This is what doesn't apply.
Right.
Okay, B always applies, so we can eliminate that. I don't know what the hell they're talking about with A. With this higher consideration thing. I don't know what they even mean.
In
there.
the ranking,
You mean in terms of ranking of precedence of motions?
Mm-hmm.
And it says what again?
you can make a motion to reconsider that doesn't get immediately heard. You have to you can call up the motion to reconsider later. It's kind of like giving a notice.
And you just confused me even worse. What is the option for A say again?
The making of the motion has a higher rank than its consideration.
Oh, that's still not buying
The
it.
making of a motion to reconsider can be interruptible in some circumstances, in which case you don't immediately proceed to the reconsideration.
Yeah.
You stick with the pending business, so it has a higher rank than the actual reconsideration itself.
Okay. So C was.
It can be made only on the same day that the vote to be reconsidered was taken.
And then D was.
The motion to be reconsidered must be called up during the same session that the vote to be reconsidered was taken.
I'm going to say C, and I'll tell you why. D to me does apply because of your time constraints of your session. So I'm going to say C.
It's D.
D doesn't apply?
This was very tricky.
JJ says C.
It's D. It's worded
Badly.
very badly. I knew it would be either C or D, but I would have guessed too. JJ asked for you to read D again.
Okay, I'm going to read the whole question and the answer D. Okay. In a society in which there is not more than a quarterly time interval between regular sessions, in a session of 1 day, which of the following requirements does not apply to the motion to reconsider? D. The motion to be reconsidered must be called up during the same session that the vote to reconsider was taken.
Oh, I get it now.
Okay, what do you get?
It doesn't apply because there'll be another session within a quarterly time interval. That's why. It has to be in the same session if there's not going to be another meeting within the same, or another session within the same quarter. I think that's what it's saying. JJ, let me know.
In a society in which there is not more than a quarterly time interval between regular sessions. So there's the maximum time between sessions is a quarter.
Right, it doesn't fall afoul of that.
There's a session of 1 day. But it doesn't say what day in the quarter is the session.
No, but it's letting you know.
Which of the following requirements does not apply in the motion to reconsider?
Let's look it up the.
I think it's see the reason I was thinking C is because of the same day part. But let's holy cow! There's a massive.
Okay.
references here.
Well then,
Section 37.
Yep. Boing. I think that quarterly had to come into play somewhere here, and I think that's where it came into play.
Okay. This is under the A through whatever under reconsider at the beginning of the section.
What, the standard descriptive?
No, it's ahead of that, actually.
Oh.
There's a section right before that, an introductory piece. Okay. The making of this motion is subject to time limits as follows. If a session of 1 day, such as an ordinary meeting of a club or a 1-day convention, the motion to reconsider can be made only on the same day the vote to be reconsidered was taken.
Right, so that's why C isn't right, because that does apply.
Okay. That's the first piece. The second piece is on the same page, a little further down. The making of this motion has a higher rank than its consideration. That is, the motion can be made and seconded at times when it is not in order for it to come before the assembly for debate or vote. In such case, it can be taken up later. Okay?
Yeah.
The third piece is a couple pages over on 320, which is part of the standard characteristics. That is standard characteristic number 5. Is debatable in all cases in which the motion proposed to be reconsidered is debatable, and when debatable opens to debate the merits of the question whose consideration
Yeah, that's
is
the
proposed.
different answer. Yeah, that's not what we're looking at.
Yeah.
That was B or something.
That's actually B. Yeah. And then 321, 10 to 22, further rules and explanations. The effect of making a motion to reconsider the suspension of all action that depends on the result of the vote proposed to be reconsidered. Either A, until the motion to reconsider has been voted on, and if the motion is adopted until the reconsideration is completed, or B, if the motion to reconsider is not taken up until the suspension terminates, as follows. If no more than a quarterly time interval will elapse until the next regular session, the suspension terminates with the adjournment of the next regular session. But if more than a quarterly time interval will intervene before the next regular session, the suspension terminates with the end of the same session in which the motion is made.
And here, mine says, if the next regular business session will be held within a quarterly time interval, it may also be called up at any meeting of that next session.
I'm calling this one shitty. It's just terribly worded.
It is badly worded, but look what happened to my Roberts. The spool, it's been working itself off the spool. See how...
That means you got to rethread it.
But isn't that, like... That sucks. I've really dog-eared this thing. I'm going to need to get another one soon.
You literally got to...
But I don't know where the... There it is. Okay.
Yeah, you literally got to feed it through the...
Yeah.
Yeah. JJ says bad.
That's only because he got it wrong. I got it right.
No, this is just a badly worded question.
It is a badly worded question.
So I'm calling this one shitty.
But I explained. Yeah, you can put it up there as shitty. Doesn't give you any points, but you can put it up there as shitty. It was very badly worded, I thought. But I'm just laughing that JJ got it wrong. It's the first time I've seen
That's what she's trying to do here, JJ. Re-roll the binding.
I can't. It's not working. I'm working on it.
I know.
It's sucky. It's awful.
It's
trying to escape.
This is why I don't like spiral bindings.
It doesn't like me. It's trying to get away. Okay, so who's asking who?
I gotta ask you, so hand me this stuff.
It doesn't. You dropped my parliamentary opinion.
You dropped your parliamentary. I had a whole question.
This is like the flag. It can't touch the floor.
Don't tread on me.
This damn binding.
You just skipped a hole.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. Right there. You seen that?
Oh. I missed the hole?
That's what she said. That's what he said. Excuse me.
Okay. Keep going.
Anyway. All right. To second a motion.
Does not mean you agree with it.
Is an important step that must be documented in the minutes.
No.
B, indicates that at least 2 members favor the motion.
No.
C, is mandatory for consideration of any question.
No.
D, the word support may be used.
No. So what's the best answer?
That's for you to figure out.
Okay, start again.
To second a motion.
Uh-huh.
A, is an important step that must be documented in the minutes.
No.
B, indicates that at least 2 members favor the motion.
God, that's really worded badly, okay?
C, is mandatory for the consideration of the question.
Isn't there some things that don't require a second? Okay.
D, the word support may be used.
C.
It's D.
Support? But a second doesn't necessarily mean you support it.
I agree with you.
That's a shitty question.
I agree with you.
Let's
but
look at the
I'm only
reference.
reading what it says.
I know, but let's
over
read
there.
the references because that is shitty. It doesn't mean you support it.
Section 4, excuse me. Lay back on the front, page 36. Under obtain the floor, making a motion, seconding a motion.
You support it being heard doesn't mean you support the motion.
It says the word support may be used. 36.
Oh, so it's saying that if someone does support it, they can use that.
A second merely implies that the seconder agrees that the motion should come before the meeting.
Yes.
Not that he necessarily favors the motion.
Yes.
Which you actually said in the first place.
I did, but that was worded very tricky, but I'm not going to call it shitty now. Because all it's saying is if you do happen to favor it, you can say, I support, and it's treated as a second.
A member may second a motion even using the word support as indicated above, because they like to see the assembly go on record as rejecting proposal if they believe that vote on the motion was such a result. So where does it say they support it?
I don't think it's shitty anymore. But look, it's not just that it got out of my binding. Look, the binding's all...
Well, it's bent. Yeah. Because the other one here has this little bend hook in it.
Okay, I've got to put a... Can you put a bend hook in that?
I can try.
I've got long fingernails. You don't.
I can try.
Otherwise, I'll have Wayne do it with some pliers.
There.
Okay, perfect. Now it can't escape. Did we make that one? No, we didn't make that. I agreed it was okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who's next? You, me, you?
You're asking me.
I'm asking
it's
you.
the 13th. It's a Friday the 13th. I don't know.
Is it
I don't
Friday?
know. It's the 13th.
No, it's a Thursday the 13th.
Day of bad luck in advance. Okay.
What? Oh my God. I'm glad you have this one. The provisions in the call to a mass meeting
Okay.
have a force equivalent to the bylaws of an organized society. I know. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking. Because they define the rights of the sponsors to limit the participants to specified rules. B, determine whether the meeting will lead to a permanent organization of a society. C, allow the participants to operate with the greatest degree of freedom. D, define the subject matter within which motions or resolutions are in order.
Okay, give me the first part of it again.
The provisions in the call to a mass meeting
Okay.
have a force equivalent to bylaws of an organized society
Okay.
because they A, define the rights of the sponsors to limit the participants to specified rules.
No.
B, Determine whether the meeting will lead to permanent organization of a society.
That may not necessarily happen. See?
C. Allow the participants to operate with the greatest degree of freedom.
Not necessarily, because they're part of the material rules. D.
Do they have parliamentary rules though? Because they have no bylaws. D. Define the subject matter within which motions or resolutions are in order.
I think it's D.
It is D, but I have no fucking idea why.
Well, it makes sense because you gotta scope the meeting for something, and that's what that would kind of do. So,
You don't want to read that?
no, I don't want to read that. I want to take a nap.
I want to read that one because we don't know
Okay,
much
we'll
about
read it.
mass meetings.
All right, section 53.
I've really mangled this book. It's from being in luggage. It's getting thrown around.
You put your Roberts in your luggage and not your carry-on?
You know how much shit I
What's the
carry?
matter with you?
I'm not going to want to be reading it on the plane.
No, but you don't want to get it being lost luggage either.
I'll live. I have it on Kindle.
I wouldn't mind having a copy on PDF, but I still don't know if they actually have done that yet. Well, they should!
Somebody might have.
Frankly, they should have a PDF copy available in this modern world.
They have a Kindle version.
Well, it's not everybody has Kindle. PDF is
You
free.
can have Kindle. It's free.
Yeah, so's Adobe Reader. And Adobe Reader is more widely used. 546, talking about rules in a mass meeting. Yeah, that too. In any event, without adopting a mass
I'm
meeting,
hungry.
and regardless of what rules the meeting may adopt, the provisions of the call, specifying the meeting's purpose and those invited to attend it, have a force equivalent to bylaws of an organized society. That is, they define the subject matter within which motions or resolutions are in order and determine who have the right to participate as
makes
members.
sense.
The effect is a consequence of the sponsor's rights as explained in the first paragraph of the section.
And Gregory, I thought I just assumed you knew that. Do you know that? You don't have to buy a Kindle.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know.
I don't
like a Kindle because it's to me it's some of its abilities, unless I'm not using it well, are limiting.
Okay,
This is Adobe.
Okay,
That's just me.
I haven't bought a Kindle since the Kindle DX, and I love my Kindle DX. I don't know about the modern Kindles, but the Kindle DX is fantastic. It's that weird, it's like that yellow background, but it's perfectly readable in full sun.
Okay.
That's what makes it very useful. So I had the Kindle DX when I lived in Florida, and I'd read on the beach with it. You can't do that with your phone.
Actually, I can.
Well, I
adjust
can't.
the brightness on the phone, and
I can't.
There's
And I
actually
couldn't on
a-
my iPad, but the Kindle e-paper, at least the Kindle DX, it was fantastic, and I'll never get rid of it. Amazon tried to buy back my Kindle. They want to do a trade-in for, I'm like, nope. Plus the Kindle DX is really big,
yeah.
and I like big.
Well, you like?
I like big Kindles, and I can. Is that a Kindle in your pocket, baby?
No, it's a Samsung Fold, and it works just as well.
I love my Kindle DX. They only made them for a real limited amount of time, too.
I know, because they weren't selling.
They're big.
That's why they weren't selling.
I love them. I love my Kindle.
All right.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I can't ask you if you don't give me the
Notice how I
questions.
don't cheat the way you do?
Yeah, you don't cheat. You look at it before you put it down. Okay. Which statement is true about elections by mail ballot?
They suck.
Well, yeah, because there's no females allowed.
Patriarchy, so crafty.
I agree. The voter must sign his ballot to ensure against votes being cast by illegal voters. B, preferential voting is a method preferred over plurality voting.
Yes.
C, the person designated to receive return ballots should open them and prepare a preliminary teller's report in order to save time when the tellers meet. No. D, none of the above.
Wait. I'm not sure anymore. Go ahead.
Okay. Which statement is true about elections by mail ballot? A, The voter must sign the ballot and to ensure against votes being cast by illegal voters.
No, because then you don't have a secret ballot anymore.
It doesn't say it's secret. It just says mail.
Ballot entails secret.
Not necessarily.
Yes, it does in Roberts.
B, preferential voting is a method preferred over plurality voting. C,
But plurality means you don't need a majority, so there's no reason for preferential voting to be preferred. Unless they're assuming... No, plurality means you don't need a majority, so...
right, first
no.
past the post. Yeah.
Right, so no issue... Maybe there's another reason why preferential is preferred. Okay.
C, the person designated to receive returned ballots should open them and prepare a preliminary teller's report in order to save time when the tellers meet.
No.
D, none of the above.
None of the above.
It's actually... Hang on. I gotta peel it up here so I can see it. B.
The preferential voting thing?
Yeah.
Why, though?
That's a good question.
I can understand you don't want
this
repeated
one we're
rounds.
this one we're looking at because I have no idea.
Yeah, normally, at first I was thinking if a majority is required, preferentials...
See, I would have guessed A, myself. But for about the signing the ballot.
Yeah, no, ballot implies secret unless it says non-secret ballot.
Okay. So they're saying 40...
But JJ, I get so you don't need repeated balloting, but it said plurality. Plurality doesn't require a majority, so you wouldn't need repeated balloting.
428, 20 to 21.
It said plurality. Plurality means you don't need a majority. It's first past the post.
Okay, the whole section here on this is talking about preferential voting and voting by mail.
Right, and that section I thought said when a majority is needed, preferential voting is preferred.
Okay, let me back up a little bit here to 425. The term preferential voting refers to any number of voting methods by which on a single ballot, when there are more than two possible choices, the second or less preferred choices of voters can be taken into account if no candidate or proposition attains a majority. Okay, that makes sense. That's what we're used to.
Yeah, but see, JJ's going, but it still means a majority don't want the person elected. Yeah, that's the risk you take when you say plurality.
Yeah. Trust me, if I would love to see electoral reform to have it so that you have to get a majority of those actually voting rather than a majority of the votes cast. Because every single time we have a presidential election, they get elected with 25% of the vote, maybe.
I originally said B because I didn't notice the plurality thing because you do want to avoid repeated rounds in a mail ballot.
Sure. 21. Here's what it says. The system of preferential voting just described should not be used in cases where it is possible to follow the normal procedure of repeated balloting until one candidate or proposition attains
It's
a majority. Although this type of preferential ballot is preferable to an election plurality, it affords less freedom of choice than repeated balloting because it denies voters the opportunity of basing their second or lesser choice on the results of earlier ballots, and because the candidate of proposition in last place is automatically eliminated and may thus be prevented from becoming a compromised choice. So what they're saying here is that the preferential takes away strategic voting.
Yeah, but it takes away strategic voting in a situation when you can do repeated balloting, but
This is a weird question.
It's a bad question. I still think it's D, but I got it wrong. Whatever. I think it's a shitty question because if you choose plurality, you're choosing plurality with all of its risks.
I would argue that preferential for my mail is preferable because it cuts costs. But they don't say that.
It doesn't cut costs.
Well, sure, you're preferencing one and you don't have to have multiple ballots.
But if you have plurality, you don't have multiple ballots.
Yes, you can.
You don't. And plurality means you don't need a majority. In what world, under plurality, do you need multiple ballots?
Florida, 2000.
That's not plurality. They require majority. When you have majority, that's the opposite of plurality. Plurality doesn't require... Now, JJ...
Oh, I know what they're arguing here.
JJ said a tie vote. Okay. Yeah. Now, that makes sense.
Preferential actually would get you to a majority where a plurality doesn't necessarily get there.
Right.
That's what they're arguing.
But a society might not care. But on a tie vote, do you have to have a tie breaking? You can have a tie and preferential
Usually
too.
that's done separately.
Isn't that usually like no, in preferential it's done by random. I don't know about by plurality how a tie vote is handled.
Usually it's handled by the in some form by the authority that takes care of the balloting.
Greg, on
Usually it's like a draw a card, draw a card, slip a coin, something like that.
I don't know about the rules in plurality, but in preferential, when you have a tie vote, it's broken randomly. So it's not, a tie isn't an issue in preferential. I don't know what the standard rules are for a tie vote on plurality. That was a real icky.
I think why they're arguing preferential here is because Roberts has always had the mentality of
that majority is better
than plurality. I think
But
that's
I think
where they're coming from.
a group decides that, though. If they've decided on plurality, listen, I'm not one to argue against preferential voting. You know I'm huge on that. But I also think a society has the right to say, fuck it, we want plurality.
Sure they do. So,
and they might have a reason for preferring that.
Yeah. I personally think plurality in public elections is stupid. But that's just me. We're going to call it shitty, but that's, we'll move forward.
And Gregory says, it's not saying you have to do it that way. It's saying it's preferred. Preferred by who? If they're doing it by plurality to begin with, and we're talking about officers, which it didn't say we were talking about officers,
This
by
is
the way.
in general.
People are assuming here we're talking about
this is
officers.
Talking in general.
But let's say we were talking about officers. If that question was talking about officers, it would mean that plurality would have to be in the bylaws, or it's just not even an option. It wouldn't even be part of the question because it's just not allowed.
Right.
It's not that it's preferred; it's just not allowed.
Yeah, and
It'd be out of order.
And because we explicitly in our bylaws allow for approval voting in certain cases,
but we still require a majority.
but
Approval
yes,
voting
we
is
do.
not.
That's why I was going. We do require a majority, which fits the bill of what a preferential does.
Yeah. But approval doesn't have to require a majority.
No, it does not. But we put that in because we want that.
The LNC all the time does approval without majority, and I think that is just so foolish.
Yeah, something you got to fix.
It's not, but it's they do it in the motion to appoint committees, and I get overruled all the time.
Yeah. Anyway, next question.
Is it me to you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. This is strong. I haven't how much? I drink 2/3 of a glass.
Yeah, maybe because it was like right up to this edge.
Yeah.
Turn around a little bit, like right to the top of that cake edge.
I'm loopy.
I don't see what being a male bows on anything.
Me either. That's why we think it's a shitty question.
Well, the section that talks about this is in a mail ballot. In Roberts.
No, it's not true. He said any argument you make for preferential voting over plurality and over plurality, yes, you're correct. He is correct.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold true for multiple rounds that require a majority, the way our officers do.
Yeah.
No, he's correct. Gregory is correct.
Yeah. The reason they have mentioned it as male is because in the section in Roberts about
You're
voting
gonna
by
get
mail.
2 bites at the apple again, you fucking bastard.
Why?
Because this is a Saturday.
Well, that's just the way it works. You've had a couple of those too.
You've had 3 in a row and you blew it.
Yeah. So what are you complaining about?
You lose a baby. Okay. I'm hungry. I have a hollow leg today.
There's no comment.
What is there to eat here? You're looking
No comment.
You're looking delicious. Okay.
Leave German sausage out of it.
Okay, are you ready?
That's not what she said.
And by the way, is there a time we have to be finished by? Because I know Lydia's probably
What time
bored.
is your?
My meeting is at 6.
It's 4:15 now, so we got a little time.
Yeah, I just.
What kind of prep do you need to worry about in advance? Let me ask you that. Let's ask it that
I
way.
haven't looked at my emails, which I'm going to look at while you're considering this question. So let me answer that in a few minutes.
Okay.
Because I might have emails of stuff for me to do. So far, my only prep is I need to be there about 20 minutes early. But
let's take it to 4:30 and let's see where things are at that point. Do a quick pause, see what's at, and go from there. Okay?
A quick pause.
Pause.
I'm hungry.
A quick
though.
pause.
Where's
Just pause.
Wayne? Wayne. Okay. Honorary membership confers.
Oh boy.
A. None of the rights of regular membership.
Okay.
B. The right to attend meetings but not to speak.
Okay.
C. The right to attend meetings and to speak. D. The right to attend meetings, to speak, and to vote.
C.
Yep. I wouldn't have known that.
I'm just going. Well, okay. Here's.
I would have known B, attend.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have think to speak.
I was thinking that, and I'll tell you why I say that. Definitely attend. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
No question there. None of the rights doesn't make any sense because then what the hell's the point?
You get a little pin.
You get a little pin.
Get a porcupine pin.
Yes. And you could get a line on your resume.
Why did we turn like stereotypically insultingly gay for that?
It's so easy. Anyway.
Like that was so weird. Oh God!
But
Apologies.
honorary members don't vote. That's why they're honorary, not full. So that left attend and speak. So he's ahead by a point.
Fuck you.
Promise.
I'm hungry. Wayne! God. Oh, you're asking me now, right?
Hold on a second.
Oh, you calling him?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything to eat. Shut up.
I didn't say anything yet.
Mikey, you never call, you never write.
And your wife is reverting to cannibalism unless you bring some food down
I'm
here.
hungry, Wayne.
Well, hang on, we just had pizza.
I know, but I'm hungry.
I'll make you a burger.
I don't want a burger.
Well, what do you want?
I don't know, but not a
You want
burger.
a chili dog?
Okay, that is just so ripe for interpretation.
So
yeah,
I said German sausages, but that wasn't any good
no,
either.
chili dog sounds good. No bun.
Chili dog with no bun. Okay.
Yeah, and
Mike,
more.
Make
Mike,
that
you want anything?
make that too, but don't forget the cheese and onions.
You want the bun?
Yeah, yes or no, fine, whatever.
No. That would be a yes or a no. Do you want a bun?
Yeah, I'll have a bun. What the hell?
And we need more wine
And women.
and
What?
and hookers and blow. We need more wine.
We have more sangria.
Yeah, that's what I
A
mean.
bunch of it.
We need more.
What proof did you make that anyway?
Yeah, we need more red-colored rum.
I used just a little bit of rum, a little bit of brandy, and the rest is all fruit.
a little bit being how much?
Yeah, because this is getting me snockered.
she said I've had a full glass and she's like she's had like 3.
Well, that glass is like the size of 3, yeah.
Not this one. This one's not that big.
Nah,
Yeah,
it's
it is.
Okay, well, we need more wine.
kind of like a brandy snifter, but anyway.
Well, come on up and get it.
I can't. I'm recording. My people are watching.
You're live while we're having this discussion.
Doesn't sound like you're recording right now.
Yeah,
You're live.
You're live.
You're on the air.
Okay.
Okay.
Give him a bunchy.
No. Oh, Wayne.
Right.
JJ says hi and bring us food.
I think he hung up.
It's giving me a headache. Okay.
Hey, thank you.
Bye.
Oh. Okay, you get another question because that was a Sunday.
Wait a second. Pardon me. All right, go ahead.
I'm sitting here separating it. Okay. Fuck. You dropped my book again.
I didn't drop your book. I'm over here.
I saw you nudge
You
it.
did that to yourself. That was self-inflicted.
Ew.
It's a Robert's tapeworm.
Ascertaining that a quorum is present is the duty of the A. Secretary, B. Parliamentarian, C. Presiding officer, D. Credentials chair.
Well, it's definitely not the parliamentarian. So A was secretary, B was chair.
No, B was
B
parliamentarian.
was parliamentarian. C was chair. Mm-hmm. And then D was the...
Credentials chair.
It's not the credentials chair. And Okay, on one hand, you could argue it's this. Okay, well, okay, what type of meeting is this?
It doesn't say.
It doesn't say. Oh,
It just
shit.
says ascertaining a quorum.
Okay. Technically, the chair declares whether there's a quorum or not. But this is ascertaining if you have one, not declaring that you have one. And usually that falls under, I would say, the secretary because of taking a roll call or similar. But this is it's one or the other. Yeah, really. No doubt.
Good to go.
That's the agony of thinking.
It doesn't stop until you stopped it. You know, so I keep stopping it because it'll.
Because you got to suck on loop. I'm going to go with the secretary.
It's the chair.
It's the chair. The chair is actually the one who declares whether there's a quorum or not. How does he make the determination if he doesn't have any numbers?
Given the numbers isn't the same as determining. It's reporting the facts for which someone else determined something.
Well, in that case, that's not ascertaining. That's just repeating.
No, it's ascertained. It's like, so when the secretary says and the votes are, 10-5.
Yes.
The chair then examines that in their head and says the motion carries.
That's reporting it. That's not ascertaining it.
It's ascertaining it.
348, 34 to 35. Okay, before the presiding officer calls meeting orders, it is to determine, although not being announced, that a quorum is present. Okay.
All right.
But it says ascertain. It doesn't say determine.
Ascertain's the same as that.
No, an ascertain is what a donkey does.
I'm breaking all these up because this is so satisfying. Oh, baby. It's like watching a pimple popping video.
You do those all the time.
I do. They're so great. You don't watch them?
I've seen one or two, but what they don't tell you
One
on
or
those,
2,000?
No. What they don't tell you on those videos is that they zoom in so far down that the little blackheads, which are not as big as the head of a pin, look like they're frickin' Crater Lake.
Some of them don't zoom like that, but a lot of them do.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I gotta figure out is why people don't get their face washed up to cause all that clogging in the first place.
I like watching the ones that are like the subcutaneous cysts.
Well, a lot of them are like around the nose.
No, I mean the ones on the back that
Yeah.
are like, they just keep going. It's like whipped cream. It's awesome.
I know. You need to get that cyst off the back of Skippy's head.
Oh, are we, who's saying who?
I'm saying,
Oh.
You're busy tearing them up and cheating while I'm waiting for you to hand them to me.
I've got a pilar cyst on my head right here.
Pilar cyst?
Yeah, it's what is on your scalp.
Oh.
I've watched a lot that I know the diagnoses.
I had one on my chin once, but I gotta be able to get it out. I'm gonna heal up normally, but yeah, you gotta get that one off the back of Skippy's head.
He's old. I don't really want to put him through that. I thought it was a tick at first because it's like shaped like one, but it's not.
No, it's a cyst. Okay. Oh God, you should get this one.
Yeah, famous last words.
No, you'll get this one.
Famous last words.
A trial by a society.
Oh, fuck you.
I told you you're gonna get this one right. A, can legally establish the guilt of the accused.
No.
B, can permit hearsay evidence.
I don't know about that. I would think
C,
so.
cannot make members testify against the accused.
They can't make people testify.
D, cannot permit an accused member to resign before the trial.
That's wrong, so it's B.
It is B. Can permit hearsay, yes.
Yeah. I didn't know if that's true. It's just process of elimination.
Yeah.
It's not okay. It's not that I know anything by experience of a trial.
That's why I said you're going to get this one.
I know a lot about not experiencing a trial. Fuckers. Unwarranted attacks my ass.
Yeah, it says they can't make members testify against the accused. Well, you would think that would be a good part of due process. Refusal to testify.
Well, yeah, you can't make a member testify. So.
Against them, yeah.
Right.
And permitting hearsay?
Yeah, because it's not a legal proceeding.
Yeah, I would consider that to be a problem. Because anybody can make shit up then.
They can. Well, hearsay isn't about making shit up. You can claim to be an eyewitness to something and making shit up.
Yeah, but hearsay is that I heard somebody else say this about them.
Yeah.
When they weren't present.
But that isn't more susceptible to making things up. It is susceptible to misinterpretation. You know, that you don't get to hear the original person's interpretation. But if you're going to make something up, you can make something up for in saying you saw something, and you would be considered an eyewitness.
You can expel a member for not testifying. I disagree with that completely.
I don't think you can.
I don't think you can
that's
either.
valid cause.
No, it's not, because if a member has the right to speak under the rules in a meeting,
They have a right not to speak.
Bingo. They cannot be compelled to testify.
Yes, Dave, a lesser charge can be preferred.
Yeah. See, I would argue that C is correct because, no, you cannot compel them to testify
Right.
against the accused.
You can't.
They're saying B is the right answer.
Right, B
which
is the right answer.
That it can permit hearsay evidence.
It can. They can permit hearsay evidence.
But then again, they're saying that a trial cannot make members testify against.
Right, they can't.
But they're saying B is the correct answer, but C is also a correct answer, is what I'm saying.
Oh, let me see.
Yeah.
Well, I got it right, so I'm
You got it right, but you see what I'm saying? I'm saying there's more than one correct answer there. I don't think they should allow hearsay. I think that's a good way. That's just
interesting.
I don't think they should allow hearsay. I really don't.
I don't have a problem with it because the burden of proof in the trial is not a criminal standard.
No,
it's preponderance.
But it should be.
It's preponderance and not beyond a reasonable doubt.
I think it should be because we're talking disciplinary stuff, not a tort liability here.
Do we want to look that up about the making people testify?
Actually, yeah, I think I do.
Because I misheard that selection,
Section
or
6
I would have been vacillating between B and C. I misheard it.
Section 63, not 61, 63, which is about steps in a fair disciplinary process.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
No. Rights of the society and the accused. Okay, here we
Where?
go. 655, right at the beginning of section 63. Investigation and trial.
Okay.
It's like right in here, and it is the third second line of the third paragraph. Ordinarily, right by your thumb. Yeah.
Okay.
Ordinarily, it is impossible for the society to obtain legal proof of the
Right.
facts in disciplinary cases. To get the truth under the contents of this trial, hearsay evidence has to be admissible, and judgment as to best interest of society may have to be based on it. Witnesses are not sworn. The person with first-hand knowledge may be non-members, blah, blah, blah. The will will decline to testify.
Oh, it says a member can be required to testify on pain of expulsion. That is shitty.
That is just fucking wrong.
That's never going to happen in a libertarian.
That's just wrong.
Well, I would say due process would never be denied in a libertarian society, but I guess I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I mean, the reason I say this is wrong is that they're compulsing a member to violate...
Compulsing?
Compulsing, yes.
Compelling,
whatever you want to call it, yes. They're compelling a member to do something they don't want to do.
Stop your compulsion. I'm having a compulsion.
That's a convulsion. They're basically that's violating the member's rights. That is a blatant violation of members' rights right there.
They're compulsing somebody.
You cannot sit here and require somebody to speak. I'm sorry, you can't. That is fucking wrong.
Motion to compulse.
You have no compulsion.
Oh my God, Look, JJ's...
Yeah, JJ, imposing the maximum penalty
Yes.
for refusing to have your rights violated?
Yes.
That's wrong.
That's wrong. JJ's authoritarian is coming
That is
out.
pure freaking wrong.
That JJ, you're never going to have that fly with
And
libertarians.
to get the idea that hearsay has to be admissible, no, because...
No, I disagree with you there.
Hearsay, they can make whatever the fuck up they want.
I told you, it's that hearsay has nothing to do with making stuff up.
But they can use it to do so.
You can do that with people who claim to be eyewitnesses.
No.
Eyewitnesses lie all the time. What do you think
Eyewitnesses...
false rape allegations are? I was raped by him. That's not hearsay. You're claiming something you experienced and you lied.
But that's not what hearsay is. Hearsay
No,
is
that's
two different people outside the presence of the defendant are saying something about that when that's not the case.
No, but you're saying that it makes something susceptible to lying. I'm
Yes.
saying all testimony is susceptible to lying. Hearsay is not more susceptible to lying than eyewitness testimony. Lying is lying. It can happen with any kind. Hearsay is excluded because you can't cross-examine the person who actually said it. In a legal circumstance, it keeps you from being able to face your accusers or those presenting evidence. That's why it's not allowed in a legal trial. This isn't a legal trial. It has nothing to do with it being susceptible to liars.
Part of due process is being able to confront your accusers.
In a legal case, it is for sure.
I would argue it's in this case. Due process.
I don't really have much of a problem with hearsay, but I do think that there should be some kind of instruction about the relative weight to assign it. But I agree with them on things such as a trial with the limitations here. You don't have subpoena power. You can't compel non-members. That sometimes the only evidence you have...
So then how can you compel members?
Because a member
Under
is...
threat of expulsion. That's a double standard again.
Well, a non-member, you have no power to do anything to them. That's why they're saying that. Now, I don't agree you should be able to compel members, but you have some kind of authority over them that you don't have over non-members. Oh, JJ says it's not even preponderance, it's morally convinced.
Boy, that's beyond subjective nonsense.
Yes, there are some exceptions to hearsay. Dying declaration is another.
Yeah, that's one of the few.
Gregory, why are you gossiping about me and JJ? I don't care if you gossip about JJ. And he did beat me up, just so you know. Even though he doesn't exist in Philadelphia.
But see, he also illustrates my point. So, that's part of the reason why I think that Roberts' definition of discipline needs to be a little better warmed up, because that's just horse crap.
Okay, but words are violence, JJ, in the new LP.
I thought we fixed that.
No, we did. Okay, in last year's LP, words are violence, so you literally assaulted me, you bastard.
In that case, I was freaking gang raped by the members of the LPCO.
Mm-hmm. Well, not just LPCO.
And you were gang raped by members of the LNC.
Yeah, well, remember that Pornhub thing?
Pornhub thing.
Pink-haired MILF gets fucked by the party.
Oh, yeah. The funny thing is, and I'm going to say this bluntly, if somebody had actually done a porn video with that theme and used a barbed dildo,
yeah, that would have been a hit.
it would have been a hit, and they wouldn't have found it grounds for removal.
No, because like all
because
that.
they'd be too busy fapping to it.
Yeah. Anyway, that's that was my favorite
All right,
meme.
we're past 4:30. We're going to check your email. And see what you
Okay,
think.
that was my favorite meme of that whole thing, though. That was good. But because that was a spinoff on the one with Bill Weld where it says, blonde fucks the entire party. Oh, okay, I don't think... Oh, I do have 3... No, this is Pink Flame of Liberty. I keep getting... JJ, look, I got an alert from academia.edu. I keep getting this one from...
It's not showing up on the screen.
I know, I'm telling him about it. Surviving Doomsday, Emergency Bylaws Provisions by Jonathan M. Jacobs. Okay, let me find... This is my regular email. I got a bunch of spam.
Free sticker.
Okay, let me...
Like it's 1973. There was an election in 73 for anything federal, guys.
Turn your head so I could read an email.
Eyes are closed. Hands over my eyes. That's on camera, so they can see that.
No, they can't. They can't.
No, I mean me.
Oh, okay. Receipt, survey responses. What's this question? I did do that. I'm making sure none of this is confidential.
That's fine.
1 second. I think all of this, if there's time. Okay, nothing's confidential. You can open your eyes.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure before I pulled up any LNC
Oh, that's
stuff.
fine.
It's all public.
No worries.
There is. Okay. It is a spreadsheet workbook. Please look at the tabs on the bottom for individual work. Are they called worksheets or workbooks? I mean, the whole thing's a workbook.
Right.
So what are the sheets called?
Either tabs or worksheets.
Worksheets.
Either one.
Yeah. They are broken down by membership status.
Candace Owens announces new daily podcast, hints at shocking story to be discussed in first episode.
Who? Candace Owens?
Yeah.
Okay, I have another question for you.
Now that's a good looking woman.
Oh, Candace Owens? Yeah, she's cute.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
I have another question for you.
Yes.
I don't like her opinions, by the way. I don't enjoy her as a talk show person. I think she's really condescending, but she is a cutie pie.
She's also very smart.
She's very smart,
Yeah.
and she's a cutie pie.
Okay, what's the question?
Okay, my question is, yay, chili dogs. That wasn't my question.
You said you needed some more wine, but it sounds to me like you have plenty
careful.
of wine.
No, I need
Sounds
more
like you
wine.
have plenty of wine.
Where's the
down
cheese and onions?
I need more wine.
there. Sounds to me like you have plenty of wine down
No, I need... Wayne, say hi.
there. Hi.
No, everyone wants to see your face. Your face isn't in camera.
Hey.
Where's the cheese and onions?
He forgot the cheese and onions.
The what?
He wanted cheese and onions.
It's in there.
It's melted in there?
It's supposed to be on top, man.
Uh,
Hey, Quinn, one more thing. Could you grab me a Pepsi out of the fridge?
yeah, and some more wine.
What?
We'll tip you.
Lord.
Gotta earn your keep around here, man.
What do you want out of the fridge?
He wants a Pepsi.
Pepsi? Do we have Pepsi?
There's one in there
Yeah.
on the door.
So there are some things I need to do. Some members sent receipts. So listen to what happened with this New Mexico survey.
Thank you, sir.
The only survey responses that are being counted are people who are current national members or state members.
Okay.
But the membership dues go through Razor's Edge,
Okay.
not the CRM.
Okay.
Yeah, they have to sync Razor's Edge with the CRM.
Right. I mentioned earlier.
They only do that about once a month. So a bunch of people I show as not being members are sending me receipts showing they are because Razor's Edge hasn't synced the data.
So because things haven't been totally staggered up, or synced up, excuse me, they've got a mismatch on the data and it's causing trouble.
Yep. So originally I started out with like 12 disqualified responses. I think I'm down to like 6. People have sent me receipts. So I will need to correct that. So we can go to 5 and then I think I need to do LNC work.
Okay.
So who's asking who now?
I don't know. Where's the sheets at?
Those hot dogs are good. It's kosher. It's not a nasty hot dog. Kosher hot dogs are the best hot dogs.
Yeah, they're made out of kosher lips and assholes.
19. So I'm asking you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So he takes a drink.
He's got to test it. He's my taster.
That's a good batch. I done good on that one.
Yeah, and you're bouncing the floor.
See, Wayne, now you missed the joke right there. You saw it's a good batch.
Okay, you ready, Mr. Seebeck? So we got 20 minutes.
Okay.
And we're up to August 19th.
Only 20
Are we recording next weekend?
Um,
So we can catch up.
maybe. I don't know yet.
No, maybe.
I got 3 rooms of floorboards I got to put together.
Okay, I'm going to do Yoda. We either do or we do not. And let me tell you why next weekend's good. Just so you know. Is pretty soon I'm going to be really heavy campaigning.
Right.
Door knocking. Weekends are going to be really filled with
You have
that.
to do all that work just to find your missing bowling ball?
What is? No, I'm doing for my campaign.
I thought that's what you were campaigning for. Your missing bowling ball.
I'm campaigning for town council, baby. Okay. Oh, God. In which case, Is it improper for the president to remain in the chair?
All of them. No, I'm kidding. What is it?
When a motion is made that commends or censors him with others.
Okay.
So a mass commendation or censorship.
Right.
B, when election by voice vote is being held in which he is a candidate.
Yeah.
C, when debating an appeal from the decision of the chair.
No.
D, when an appeal from the decision of the chair is lost.
It was definitely not C and D.
Yeah, you and I know a lot about those two, more than most
Right.
people do.
So A was
When a motion is made that commends or censors him with others.
Censures.
I said censures.
You said I said censor, but anyway.
Censure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
U-R-E, not O-R, yes.
Yeah, U-R-E.
Okay, B.
When an
is-
election by voice vote is being held in which he is a candidate. That's a good hot dog. You haven't eaten any of yours
I'm
yet.
thinking first. I'm going to go with B because I think that's the more definitive answer.
I would have agreed with you, but it says A.
What?
And to me, I don't see why it's A because it's something that he holds in common, not with every member of the assembly, but with others. But it's A. We might want to look at this, but
Yeah, I tend to agree that shouldn't be A. B is clear as bell because of conflict of interest.
But they claim it's not. They claim it's not. That we always in the LP, when the election is for an office that the chair's running for, even at national conventions.
Yeah.
Gregory, it wasn't to censor the whole LNC. Ken Molman heard that motion, and it was to censure everyone who voted for my removal. Ken did not vote for my removal.
He abstained.
So there was no issue with him
Yeah.
even taking that motion.
He abstained from that, so there was
Yeah.
no conflict of interest, sure.
According to this, if it was Whitney, she would have had to have relinquished the chair for that
To
motion.
which I agree. See, the problem here is that to me, both A and B are right answers. But they're saying A.
I think A and B are both prudent answers.
Well, definitely prudent. But I would argue that having the gavel in an election vote where you have the authority by, as a voice vote here, it says,
Yeah, and that's really a judgment call.
that's a judgment
If you
call
find-
for which they're running a candidate. That's a conflict by definition.
If you find the page, I'll read it so you can start eating.
451 under officers. And let's see here.
Oh, on the LNC list. Nobody ever suggested censuring everyone.
I thought Josh might have.
No, maybe he did. I think he said almost everyone. Each time I've seen a mass censorship come up on the LNC, it conceded that there were some people who never really got involved in the dirty stuff.
Right.
So I think it was always worded as almost everyone else here should be censored. And I think I know Joshua moved to censure Richard
Yeah.
at some point. I don't think there was ever a motion to censure everybody, because there certainly were some people that never really got
some people just
involved.
never really responded to anything to it.
Who?
There were some people in there just never didn't get involved at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You were talking about what?
Like Stephen Nikala. There's like absolutely... B is a specific duty of the chair.
Not when the chair's running for the election. It's not.
Okay, what section so you can eat?
You mentioned something about the centering a common. Well, they quote it right there. It's right
Yeah.
here. This being in this paragraph.
But
right
does
here.
it talk about elections here? Okay, I'll look.
Right there. This paragraph.
When a motion is made that refers only to the presiding officer in a capacity not shared in common with other members, or that commends or censures him with others, he should turn the chair over. So it specifically lists what A was.
Okay, that's running a yellow light. Note, JJ, when the chair is running for that office, it is not part of the job because there is an inherent conflict of interest by definition, especially when we're talking about a voice vote.
I can't find anything in here that says that. Let me see, 29 through 35. Now, we always just do that in the LP.
And it's the right way to do it, really. Part of the problem with some things that Roberts comes in there is that they don't take into effect what appearance of conflict of interest is, and when they're discussing
let's
these
see.
things. They're so astronomical with the procedure, they forget about the optics. That's part of the problem.
It seems to here say that it's the duty of the chair to state and put all questions that legitimately come before the assembly as motions or that otherwise arise in the course of proceedings, except questions that relate to the presiding officer himself in the manner noted below. But I don't see anything noted below.
See, that's the thing. Questions relating to the presiding officer,
Yeah.
including their election.
I think there is
JJ said it's not a conflict under Roberts. Well, that's because Roberts doesn't concern itself with ethics. It concerns itself with process.
But
and it ignores the ethics and the optics in the way.
But this
which is one of its
question
fundamental
is
flaws.
about, though, what Roberts says. So
Yeah.
it's A, even though you and I both think it should be B as well. I can't find anything in Roberts that says it should be B. Exactly. Now I'm going to slurp up my chili. It's a good hot dog, huh?
Yeah. I guess I'm used to having the chili and cheese on top rather than underneath everything. Or the cheese and onions on top rather than underneath everything.
I meant just the hot dog.
Yeah.
I think it's Nathan's. Either Nathan's or Hebrew National. I love both of those. We really got dirty. We're sitting here eating wieners. I didn't know you liked wieners so much.
Jack and Diane here. Sucking on chili dogs.
Yep. Does Lydia know you like wieners?
She likes wieners.
Yeah, but did she know you did?
I eat a lot of hot dogs and corn dogs.
Okay, here's
I'm one of those guys who thinks that there should be, at least at a state fair, someone needs to make a corn dog where the hot dog is wrapped in cheese before it's dipped in the corn dog batter and fried. I think it would sell.
I want another hot dog. Wayne!
Wait, she's another wiener.
Wayne, I need another wiener.
If a bylaw is ambiguous,
It should be amended as soon as practicable.
agreed, completely. However, ... here's the options.
Okay.
Its meaning should be decided by A, presiding officer, B, the parliamentarian, C, the board of directors, or D, the membership.
That is very strange because it's initially decided by the chair and then the membership can appeal. But the principles of
I'm
interpretation
letting you contemplate.
say it's the right of the members to determine. So I'm going to say membership.
You're correct. You were correct in how you deciphered it, but you're also correct in the answer.
Yeah. I mean, it's the chair, but by not appealing, the members are deciding.
Correct.
So
In the instant case, the chair should decide, but
you
the members
used
say
in the
ultimately.
instant case. How fancy pants can you be? In the instant case. Oh my God, foo-foo.
I could have been a lawyer, but I chose not to.
In the instant case.
I could have been a lawyer, but I chose not to. The
He
Latin
has
sucks.
his little pinky out while he's drinking his tea. In the instant case. Don't be compulsing people.
To speak against themselves, yes. See, I would never last in law school. I don't have a tolerance for their bullshit.
Oh. See, at my job, we do things like motion to compel all the time, and I'm just envisioning motion to compulse.
No, it's compulsory, isn't it? To make something compulsory is to compel something, or to compel it, you know.
No, it's not or compel, it's compel.
It's a word because I said it is.
Oh, God. So, oh, no, no, I'm asking you now. Yeah, okay.
Ever heard the word bullshit? You ever heard the word bulk shit?
No.
It's bullshit in bulk. I invented that word.
And that's why I've never heard it.
I have a whole dictionary of words like that,
I can imagine.
including filibuster, which I know you've
Yeah,
heard
I
of.
did like that one. If a regular, excuse me. If the regular presiding officer
Yes.
of an organized society fails to perform the duties of the chair properly in a meeting,
Yes.
a motion can be made to A.
Yeah.
Declare the chair vacant. B. Declare the vice president as the presiding officer. C. Suspend the rules and take away from him the authority to preside during all or part of a given session. D. Elect another member to serve as temporary presiding officer.
Okay, read it again one more time. And the choices.
If the regular presiding officer of an
Yes.
organized society
Yes.
fails to perform the duties of the chair properly in a
Yes.
meeting,
Yes.
a motion can be made to
Yeah.
A. Declare the chair vacant.
Not
JJ's
immediately.
just spouting phrases for no reason. B. Declare the vice president as the presiding officer.
No.
C. Suspend the rules and take away from him the authority to preside during all or part of a given session. D. Elect another member to serve as temporary presiding officer.
Okay, it's definitely not B. The wording of C has gotten me tricky here. Say that one more time.
Suspend the rules and
Right.
take away from him
Take away from the chair.
the authority to preside during all or part of a given session.
That's not the same as removing them from the position of chair for the session. That's differently worded. Okay. Because it doesn't strip them of the chairmanship, just of the powers. That's different. So I'm not going to say C. So A was moved to declare the chair vacant, right?
Yes.
And D was to...
Elect another member to serve as temporary presiding officer.
You have to do A before you do D, so I'm going to say A.
It's C.
No, it's... Ow!
Here you go. Wayne! Why is JJ talking about camels?
Extra camera roll.
Why is he talking about camels?
Do you know what in camera means
I
legally?
do. I do. It means like in the judge's chambers.
It means in scope, yes.
Yeah. An in-camera inspection. Let's
Guess
look.
what is?
See, he's trying to tell you.
Well, make me go lawyer on you, JJ. Okay. If a chair fails to act in accordance with the Assembly's decision on appeal or point of order submitted to vote, or otherwise culpably fails to perform the duties of the chair properly in a meeting, the Assembly may employ measures temporarily to replace the chair with another presiding officer expected to act in accordance with the will of the Assembly. Replace the chair. That's on 651. If the offending occupant of the chair is an appointed or elected chair pro tem, a motion can be made to declare the chair vacant and proceed to elect a new chairman. Okay. Such a motion is a question of privilege affecting the assembly, and it's a main motion requiring majority vote, blah, blah. If the chair is not appointed or elected chairman pro tem, a motion to declare chair vacant is not in order. Okay, fair. I can understand why you'd say that. However, a motion may be made to suspend the rules so as to take away from the authority to preside during all or part of a given session. Double asterisk, this because truly of the bylaws provision to the effect that the president shall preside at all meetings, so such a provision is clearly in the nature of rule of order, which may be suspended even if in the bylaws. I can believe that.
And Alicia quoted that during the meeting.
Yeah.
Because someone was claiming, even though the motion ended up failing to, remove Whitney from being able to preside at the meeting, they were like, no, but the bylaws say the chair presides. And Alicia or Aaron, with
Someone.
Alicia whispering in his ear,
Yeah.
got up and said no, and they quoted this footnote.
Yeah. However, here's the problem, okay? This section specifically says, take away the authority to preside. But 2 paragraphs earlier, and I quote, the Assembly may employ measures to temporarily to replace the chair with another presiding officer. They say that the Assembly can remove that person from the position and put somebody else in. This is saying that they can remove their authority, but not remove them from the position. They're 2 different things, and they're in conflict.
Potentially, but I think the meaning's clearer in context, but I do think the wording could be clearer there.
Because what they're trying to do here is they're keeping the title but taking away the authority. The other one says remove the title and authority.
But because removing
they're
an officer is such a big thing, I don't, well, anyway, I've drinking a lot, so
Yeah.
drinking. I'm being compulsed to drink.
So this is one of those cases where, once again, Roberts, well, it doesn't matter where it's a temporary occupant or not. It's a separation of the position and the duties attached to the position, not who's sitting in the seat.
I've got another question for you.
Yeah.
Rather than bringing it up at the beginning of the meeting,
Yes.
you know what I'm talking about. I'm going back to an earlier discussion
Yeah.
about alternates.
Yes.
Should I just bring it up on the list?
Why not? That's an advantage. However, if you're going to do it, you better do it now.
Well, I'll do it when we're done with the show.
Yeah.
But what do you think, JJ? I don't know. I haven't really decided what I want to do yet.
Yeah. But see, once again, this is a case where Roberts confuses the position and the title versus the duties of the office.
JJ says bring it up on the list.
Probably the best answer. And that is something that they continually get conflated in here incorrectly, in my opinion, because you can have the duties without the title. Well, shit.
Oh,
Well,
you defaced the holy
I
holy writ.
I smeared some chili on the page. Whoopee. It's my own book, so
Oh, be still my heart. Look, by the way, in camera, in private,
yeah.
in particular taking place in the private chambers of a judge, like
Yeah.
I said, in the judge's office is how I know it.
Yeah. But the big thing is the title and the duties, while they can be connected, they're not always, because the duties can be assumed by someone without the title, and the person without the title can have the duties taken away. They're not always joined together at the hip. Removing the person from the title does remove the duties from that person with it. But what they're talking about here is removing the duties without the title. They're still the presiding officer, they just can't do anything. So then they're just basically, that handicaps the entire operation. Because you still got to be able to run the darn meeting. Again, this is what happens when you guys don't think process, and you from a systems engineering perspective.
Look, NP44 Retroactivity by Jonathan M. Jacobs. Why am I getting all your shit spamming my email, dude?
JJ, here's a little tip. Everybody occupies the chairs temporary.
Oh.
It's just a matter of when they're elected or not, or removed or not.
Or, yeah, not elected. Right. Exactly.
Or as we said the statement in baseball a long time ago, aren't all managers interim? Yes, they are, because they eventually will get fired.
Well, we're on
Or they'll
5.
die.
I think we're on 5, and we ended in a... No, I ended one ahead. I thought we were in a dead heat. But here we go. So what are you at? You're at 10 more, so you got 67.
Yeah.
I'll let you do yours. And I'm at what? 69. Ooh, baby, baby. Baby, baby.
And see, that's the problem, JJ, is you guys treat pro tems separate from regular officials. And you
Here
shouldn't
we
be.
go, baby.
And you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Because the status of temporary versus the status of permanent, which really isn't, shouldn't be any different. It's just who's occupying it in the moment.
See? 69, baby.
And we must update shitty to 3.
Yep. So 2 ahead. So we've already done more questions than last year because I had 62 for the whole year. Okay.
So
Going back here. All right, we're going to get going because
this is why the folks on Roberts need to go read Kevin Carson. But anyway.
I do have work to do. I've got to update the survey, what people sent me, their receipts for membership. I got to decide whether I want to give notice on the list. And the reason why I'm thinking perhaps notice on the list, even though it will provoke... We started late, JJ, so it is more than last year. And I'm averaging about the same, I would say. We started this midway through last year, I think.
Somewhere in there.
Probably around this time last year, I think.
We had a long period of time because of convention season where we weren't getting much done.
Yeah.
Because you were all over the darn place for good reason, and
Yeah, and then
that took away from recording.
What else was I going to say, though? Oh, one reason to do it on the list is it gives any alternates who want to speak in public comment time to maybe prepare their thoughts or whatever.
As I said earlier, the sooner you get it out there, I think the better.
An
off
argument
you're gonna be.
against it, it's going to create a lot of social media fodder.
Let them. It's going to happen anyway.
No, it doesn't.
If you do it in advance, they're going to complain. If you do it at the last second, they're going to complain. If you blindside by it, they're going to complain.
Well, but there's no
you can't
rule
change
against
that.
Well, half of those people on social media only read the list. They don't go to meetings.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to go do work, though. All right, y'all. This is it. We didn't do any whoring, and we didn't get any beer money, you bastards.
I thought you were drinking sangria anyway.
Well, alcohol money.
Yeah. No
You're
stripper-
drinking beer.
No stripper
Well,
pole
you
money.
were drinking beer.
No stripper pole money either.
I have the feeling no one wants to see that, Mike. I think we're going to...
Nobody wants to see you on a stripper pole?
No, it was you. But I think maybe we should start collecting money not to.
Isn't that extortion? Isn't that
It's compulsing.
taxation?
It's compulsing.
Taxation.
Okay. Where is... Oh, here's the
know.
closing thing. Okay, we're going to get going now, and I think I'm going to try to talk Wayne into making another hot dog. That is just painful.
Oh, it's just a chili smear. You can still read it.
It's painful. That would bother me. I'd buy a new book.
It's the 11th. It's out of date
I'd buy
anyway.
a new book anyway. Okay, y'all.
Besides, you're the one that keeps unraveling yours.
Yeah, but I fixed it.
Only because I showed you how
You
to
helped
do
me,
it.
and JJ helped me. All right, bye-bye.
See ya.
Favor! Let's hear the opposition side. Like a stubborn donkey's bray. All opposed? You say nay. Opposed! Opposed! The motion carries.